Hello.
Hello.
I'm kind of wondering whether or not to do a little
Oh, there you are. You guys hear
Joker style intro for this.
We can hear you.
Fuck. I don't know what is up with this Wi-Fi router. It cut out. It cuts out. I even just factory reset it. Son of a bitch. I don't know. I gotta run a cable. But I don't know how to do it in my house setup. Oh, it's gonna be such a pain in the ass. Well,
I think I should do a Dark Knight Joker style intro for this one.
a Dark Knight Joker.
I am the one in the night. I am the bat.
No, I'm talking what doesn't kill you only makes you stranger. And I can do this whole you know how I got these scars speech.
I played Grim Fandango as how. But
Lance Storm, why do people care if someone else likes pineapple on pizza? Unless you're ordering for them, why do you need to know or even care?
First of all,
because it's a meme.
No, pineapples on pizza are a fucking disgrace.
Why?
Is why. They're gross.
Put anything on a pizza. Who gives a shit?
No, not anything.
I put maple syrup on a pizza before. Pretty good.
All right, well, you go to hell and you die.
I put sardines on a pizza before if I'm in the mood. Very salty, but not bad.
You go to hell. Who's in the mood for that?
Even I've never put maple syrup on my pizza, and I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, I got this like pretty sweet Vermont like habanero infused maple syrup. I'm like, I wonder what this tastes like. Oh, how about that?
Who the fuck wants habanero infused syrup?
Billy Head, that's who.
What the fuck is wrong with you people? Nobody wants these things.
I like trying things in different combos.
Yeah, I like trying things too, but sometimes the better part of me goes, Kevin, don't do this. He may seem nice and he gave you his number, but don't do this. You're not this person.
Oh boy.
We ready to start this jamboree now?
Aside from all the games for this cast, I've only played 2 games otherwise. It's like,
ooh.
Let's see.
Pouring a lot of time into a particular one, but I'll mention that when we're live.
Sure.
We're live and in color right now.
Everything's working. Cool.
Is it though?
Watching Escaflowne for the next anime cast.
Yeah, next Saturday.
For whatever reason, last night I was trying to watch it and it wasn't working on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll lost their... Well, okay, so Funimation and Crunchyroll cut their little partnership tie. Oh, so it's possible that Funimation took back the rights to...
damn it.
Yeah. You'll just have to pirate it.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Or
it's really nice when companies make you pirate things.
Well, I mean, or he can... Colin lives in Canada, so Funimation doesn't work, I don't think.
It does.
No, it does. It does. I had it in Canada. It was Germany. I didn't have
it. I could probably just get like that first month's free thing and then cancel it right after that.
Yeah, you could.
That's the spirit.
That'd be the legal way.
Yeah. And there's nothing they can do about it.
I mean, there's something they can totally do about it. I mean, like, hey, can you not?
So that's probably it. I noticed a couple from my Crunchyroll queue went away. But I don't pay for Crunchyroll. I'll just have an ad blocker, and then I just watch everything that way.
That's the spirit.
Well, they have
like things to be free.
Their Crunchyroll's ad. I don't do that normally, but Crunchyroll's ad system is like totally broken. It'll like I can do like a couple 30-second commercials, every 10 minutes or so for a video. That's no problem. Just kind of I zone out anyways. But Crunchyroll's will break itself and it'll play like the same commercial 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my the website I used to watch WWE does that.
So I was like, okay, ad blocker, and then I was informed that Crunchyroll doesn't have a system for ad blocker. I go, why the hell have I been paying for Crunchyroll then?
Yeah, I guess to give more money to legally bringing anime over to the West.
Well, it doesn't like help the companies out at all. It just helps Crunchyroll.
That is true.
So who gives a fuck? Crunchyroll used to be a pirate site anyways.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Very, very
I'm ready to go, guys.
I've been ready.
Okay.
Intro then.
Alrighty. You want to do the intro?
Sure.
Test.
Hello?
I'm just testing the volumes right fast. Test.
Yeah, I tested mine already.
Colin, turn your headphone volumes down. I can hear an echo. Mute.
Sure. What? Dang it! What the heck's going on with Audacity? It just suddenly closed.
Nice. Everything's going real smooth today.
Let me reopen it.
I'm gonna start and restart Discord on my end. No, I'm not.
I was gonna say that seems excessive.
What I do see is a very bad kitty causing trouble right now in front of me.
No, Mr. Kitty. It's my Mr. Kitty.
Pie.
Test. A little bit lower, Colin.
A little bit lower now.
Lowered.
Test. Okay, cool.
Test.
All right, let me get Audacity going again. Discard.
Oh, jeez, I didn't feel good.
Got lots of stuff to complain about today.
Why everything costs money?
Oh, well, I mean, in so many words.
That's fair. I don't know why. I really love the way the sights look on an AK in Far Cry 4. I don't know why. It just feels good, man.
I thought Far Cry 4 was the better Far Cry game out of the three I've played.
5.
I didn't like 5.
Testing. Okay, I think I'm good.
I thought 3 was pretty good. 4 kind of hit a high point, I guess. Then 5, I was like, this is not great.
And then Primal was like, oh yeah, that happened.
Oh yeah, Primal did happen. That was forgettable.
Was it good?
That was forgettable.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
obviously, since I forgot about it.
There you go.
You're all set, Colin?
So, I'll do the intro then?
Yeah, if you want, man. Gotta wait those 10 seconds.
Okay, then.
Count it down, baby.
3, 2, 1, go.
You want to know how I got these marks on my face? Well, I was listening to the Red Leaf Retrocast, and that handsome devil Colin made a particularly witty comment against that utter fool Kevin, and I wound up laughing for 10 minutes straight. It felt so good, I didn't want the feeling to end. I just wanted to grin forever. So I kept grinning, etching it in on my face, and... Why so serious, audience? Smile on those faces. By commencing the Red Leaf Retrocast. Take it away, guys.
I feel personally attacked by your intro.
I liked it. I quite enjoyed that. It was unique and new, and it really fit the mood, because today's theme was picked by myself, your host, JD. The strange and the weird. Yes, we're playing strange and weird games. That is the theme for the cast, and we'll get there. We got our usual intro. Should be fun. got some announcements to make, absolutely. But before that, we're going to introduce the other two hosts. The one who gave us the amazing Joker-like intro is my buddy Colin. How you doing?
Guys, did you like my impression?
Wasn't bad. I'm surprised you had that like memorized so well.
Well, I actually wrote it down, but I was kind of on the fence whether or not to actually do it.
You really wanted to fit the mood. And our second host is the OG himself, Kevin.
The rotating chair, the permanent guest.
How you doing?
Oh, dandy. I been dabbling in a game here or there, trying to get by.
You've been playing a weird game yourself for your little Game of the Month club, haven't you?
Yes, Psychonauts. Let me tell you, that game is not only weird, it's overrated as hell.
Oh, come on.
No,
I think it's properly rated.
Yeah, look, I don't know if people played the second half of that game. Because it's like the first 50% is real good. And then it seems like it ran out of ideas, and they're like, how much weirder can we get? Let's just keep doing that.
Well, I mean, it's what do they call it? A Tim Burton game, basically?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a Tim Burton game, but like, I don't know, it's got that Invader Zim quality where everyone looks like they have some kind of disease all the time.
We got people in the chat joining us.
Hello, chat.
Yeah, it's good to have everybody. I thought Psychonauts was fine.
It was a fine game.
It was great, and then it was just okay, which makes it fine. I think as a cult classic standing type game, I think that suits it well.
Yeah, it was okay, but am I okay never playing it again? Also, yeah.
Aw, that's harsh.
I don't know. It's okay.
You should play the VR game. That's where you
I don't hate myself.
You jump into people's heads in virtual reality, so that gets real trippy. I just wish it wasn't as short, like most VR games, but okay.
That's the issue.
So some announcements here. In total, this is episode 32 for the retro games. Ooh. And episode 99 when you put all of the Red Leaf Retrocast episodes together.
We were so close.
Very close. And in
could have been the one.
And in commemorating that mark and coming up on 2 years of the cast in January, which is in a month and a half from now. 2 months. 2 months. We're getting new logos made, new layouts. I'll probably add some more drops. And my favorite thing going on right now is we are running a contest on Twitter at BowlingJD Red Leaf Retrocast, in which if you subscribe to us on YouTube, the Red Leaf Retrocast, follow us on Podbean, write a review on iTunes or Stitcher, you can do all four. You'll be entered into the contest, and you will be put into a random draw. If you win, you get to choose basically a theme for a cast of your choosing, and you get to pick 2 games if you pick the Retrocast. If you want to pick the anime, then you get to pick an anime for us to review. Or if you're a wrestling fan, you get to choose the Wrestler Spotlight. So it's big, at least 30 minutes to an hour theme that you'll get to pick for the cast. So it'll be entirely dedicated to that fan that wants to participate, and all the shout outs that they want included. So if they want to, if they have their own YouTube channel or Twitch or whatever, they can hype up that. Or if they want to hype up another friend's channel, they're more than welcome to. That is the contest. So you can enter again, leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher, subscribe to us on YouTube, or follow us on Podbean. Those are your 4 entries. All you have to do then is take a screenshot and send it to @BowlingJD, and you'll be entered. There you go. It'll be running through the entire it'll be running through the entire month of November.
I want to answer.
You want an answer?
I want to enter. I want to enter the contest. I want a whole episode of you talking about how cool is.
How cool Kevin is. Members of the podcast cannot enter.
I want a Triple H episode.
Triple H isn't retired, so he wouldn't be available for the Wrestler Spotlight.
He might as well be retired.
Well, his tit just fell off the other week, so
he should fix that.
If you're already a subscriber to YouTube, all you have to do is upload that screenshot of you subscribing. Someone just asked that to me on Twitter. Cool. I have the entry tweet deck up. If you want to be a part of the cast in real time, join us on the live stream, whether that's YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, Periscope, what have you. Use the hashtag RedleafRetrocast, and we will it'll be a good way to interact with us in real time. So, on to what games we've been playing since Kevin started us off with Psychonauts. Just like South Park, guys, I have also been playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
I need to catch up on South Park.
I haven't bought the game yet, but I have been playing it on Fridays at my place. So, my little demo place.
Your demo place. That's right.
Yeah. I have a save file there, but you know, it was funny. I was watching that South Park episode, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go back to that snow stage. Because that's like 2 hours of the game or some shit. And South Park makes a reference. You can't just go back to the snow stage. It's too long.
I miss South Park.
Yeah. The game is good. And hello everybody in the chat yet again. The game's good. It's very detailed, overly detailed at times. Overly
testicles.
Overly, yeah. That's the main thing everyone's talking about. But like all Rockstar games, I'm almost positive, and I did read a couple reviews where once you get like halfway through the game story, which is 25 hours, in that 50-hour-ish game, it just becomes a shooting gallery. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of expected that. That's what like every Grand Theft Auto mission ends up becoming in times. That's what the first Rockstar Red Dead Redemption game was. I didn't play Red Dead Revolver.
Nobody did, and everyone that says they did is a liar.
I bought it, but I still haven't played it.
Yeah, it's on my shelf right over there too.
And then I've just been playing games for the podcast. Yeah, so had a lot of fun with the games for this cast. Colin, what have you been playing?
I haven't had a chance to get to Red Dead Redemption 2 because 1, I'm planning to play Witcher 3 first, and 2...
Oh, okay.
Same, man. I'm waiting on that too. That's exactly what I was going to do.
2, because I just recently beat Batman Arkham Knight. And oh boy, what an ending. Whew.
You liked it, or it was just kind of over the top?
I liked it. It was...
Okay.
Us kind of left room for a possible sequel because it sounds like Rocksteady is considering making a Justice League game based in the Batman Arkham universe. So that could be interesting.
Okay. Well, with Batman and Spider-Man, the superhero games they look to be bright.
Yeah, in fact, me playing Batman Arkham Knight so much is what inspired me to do today's intro. And the other game I just recently got and tried out a couple of times is Enter the Gungeon.
Oh, I'm familiar with that. It's very popular in Europe.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, to those who don't know, it's basically a roguelike bullet hell game. Kind of like... It's the bullet hell version of Dead Cells, essentially. Although Devolver Digital created it, and they put their own little spin on the visual style.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really cool, but it's really fun. It's got a really great sense of humor. For instance, one of the weapons that you can get is a giant bullet that shoots guns.
Yeah, the game is quite kooky like that. It's weird, you might say.
Exactly. And I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, no pun intended, but I'm considering getting Night in the Woods. I believe you played that, JD?
I did. I played it last year. and it's an interesting story-ridden game. There's not much gameplay to it at all. You just kind of go around. It focuses on all the characters are animals, and it focuses on the main character like battling kind of their own depression and finding some sinister plot within the town going on, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, I don't mind that it's very heavy story ridden. I mean, my third favorite game of all time is To the Moon, and that's very, very story heavy.
I think it made my top 25 of last year. I can double check that right quick.
What is To the Moon?
Glowing praise for it. So,
yes,
to that end, I would like to make a deal with you, JD.
Okay. Deal you speak of.
I will drop whatever game I'm playing or planning to play right now and focus all my effort on Night in the Woods if you drop whatever you're playing and focus all your efforts on To the Moon. 4 or 5 hours, so that's not. I don't think that's a big ask.
Okay, what is that? Where can I get To the Moon then? Steam?
Yes.
Sure. Down?
It's very cheap. It's like, I think it's only like $10.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm down.
Be worth it. Cool. Deal made then.
Moon. There's also another Steam game I've been meaning to get. It just came out. Can't remember the title off the top of my head. That'll be for next cast. I wanted to play that as well. It's by the same. It's a game made by the same guy who did Papers, Please. So another very unique and weird game there. So we got a theme going. Nice. Definitely, it's fitting the podcast. But unfortunately, we have to move on to horrible and pissed off news that's been going on in the gaming industry. Because oh my god, we have to talk about it. Because I am livid at one of them. I'm absolutely livid. I gotta play. On. Yeah, so I gotta play this Mario Game Over drop. On. Okay. So docket here, or the notepad. Alrighty. Activision Blizzard announces a mobile game called Diablo Immortal at BlizzCon. Comes with a large series of boos, online hate, and they essentially turned heel to a PC crowd.
Yeah. Blizzard's stupid.
Oh boy.
Blizzard's stupid.
What are they thinking?
I'm very proud of my wrestling kind of pun thrown in there.
Here's the thing. I was listening to a bunch of podcasts who are all people that have to work in the game industry. They're always like, there's no reason to boo. Like, these developers worked hard on this game, and, like, people are so entitled. I'm like, fucking the people that buy these games are the reason you have jobs. Like, they'll fucking tell you if they don't want something. It was like, there's no need to boo. That's just being, like, entitled and immature. I'm like, nobody fucking likes mobile games. Get over it. Like, and then the asshole comment from the guy at Blizzard be like, what, you guys don't have phones? Like, no, fuck you, dude. Like, that's not what we wanted.
Oh, that was the Nintendo Switch response to why they don't have a voice interface or chat interface in their Switch. They go, well, everyone has their phones anyways. I was like, no, you're just being lazy and it's spitting in the face of the fans. You're at a You're at a convention that's dedicated to computer gaming fans, and you're releasing a mobile game. That's like me going to an Xbox conference and being like, what, you guys don't have PlayStations?
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna get booed.
Sorry.
People there would probably be like, I mean, I do, but yeah, okay. Like, it's so dumb. I hate that, like, the podcasts I listen to are all like, they're very, I don't know, they're just so pro industry. Like, there are people that work hard in this game. Like, that's cool. Maybe they should have not announced it here. They would have given a shit. Like, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, I remember.
Like... Go on, Colin.
I remember Tech USA was talking about this, and he mentioned that them without following up with an actual, say, Diablo 4 announcement, that's where they went bad. As in, they built it up so much, people were expecting like a new PC Diablo game, and then when they ball saying, "Oh, it's just the mobile game," that's why people got pissed. They basically did a bait and switch.
Well, there was even the fan that went up for the question, for a question, and goes, "So, is there any plan to have this game on PC at all?" And then the guy, that's where they go, you guys don't have phones. Answer came from to the crowd was no, there's no plans for this game to be on PC at all. It's just going to be just only mobile. So it's just going to be a watered down version of Diablo. In full disclosure, I don't give a shit about Diablo or Blizzard like one way or the other. It's just not my kind of game, not my kind of audience. But even I'm not dumb enough to go in front of a PC crowd like and make an announcement like that and not expect some backlash.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, but going back to like booing the developers, nobody's booing the developers necessarily. They're booing Blizzard for being a bunch of dicks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and
then Activision Blizzard. Let's not forget that Activision.
Oh, we'll get to more Activision news here in a second. I just read the news this morning about more Activision nonsense.
Oh yeah,
boy.
Yeah,
can't wait. Well, the other thing I wanted to say is now I forgot it. Damn it! Look what you've made me do. Trash. Oh well. Can't be important.
Yeah. Well, let's take an opportunity then to move on to the Activision news. So I got to play Black Ops 4. Its modes and whatnot, and I go, mechanically, it's probably the best Black Ops game I've ever played. Zombie mode doesn't do anything for me. I kind of went on a rant in the last cast about it. Fair enough. Well, when I went to play Red Dead Redemption 2 at my demo place, there were a couple guys going, "What the fuck are all these microtransactions in the game all of a sudden?" And so right after that what Activision did was, right after that grace period of all the reviews that came out and everything, then they implemented all the microtransactions into the game for all the skins and all the things you unlock and etc. And someone on Reddit apparently had done the math on how much time it would take and money it would take to buy all of these items, right? It would take either $200 minimum or 250 plus hours of grinding gameplay.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so that's more than $1 an hour.
Oh boy.
Just for the in-game content that is kind of your motivation to keep playing the game, in so many words.
I like the fact.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolute scummy. Totally scummy. It's shady. It's as shady as that. I just, another article that came out. Sony is now complying with Chicago-based gaming law or entertainment laws called an amusement tax, where it's an extra 9% tax on things qualified as external amusement. So that's video games, that's movies, that's going to the amusement park, just anything. Everything costs an extra 9% tax.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I couldn't find if it like included restaurants or anything. I don't think they were on there, but basically anything that doesn't meet like a normal need, they consider part of that amusement tax. So, like what Activision did is right up there, and just like what you said, Kevin, with the with a lot of these industry podcasts saying that the fans were booing the developers, and it's like, no, it is the companies that we're booing at this point. They don't deserve our praise when they're doing shady and predatory things to us.
Yeah. And honestly, is it only PlayStation, or is it like Switch and Xbox as well?
Well, Sony was the only one that came out and said they're going to start complying with it.
Okay.
I tried to look for it to see if Nintendo and Microsoft are doing it. I'm sure they are. I just couldn't find an article that stated that they were going to. They you know what? They probably just, because it's one city and within those limits, they probably just didn't care.
Yeah.
To release anything. That's my theory, anyways. I'm sure they're complying too. It's extra money for them.
If it was only well, it's extra money for the city. It's not going to PlayStation. If it's a tax, it's got to go. It's got to go to Chicago.
I wish I knew more about that law. I think a small piece of that tax goes to the companies as well.
If that's the case, that's shitty. And I'd honestly, as much of a PlayStation fan, I'd be like, I'd sell my fucking PlayStation.
But I think you could be right on that. I think it could be just going to the city. I'm not sure about that tax law.
Step one, move out of Chicago.
I'm yeah, well, yeah, that's the solution. Don't live in Illinois. What do you feel about because this isn't the first game that's kind of post-launched microtransactions and this kind of shit into its game. We saw a lot of that with Destiny 2, which we'll get to Destiny 2 in a second as well. What do you think about this post-launch stuff?
Sneaky, because then they got around all the like launch day, so nobody writes in the reviews, and now that oh look, we got great reviews, hit them.
Yeah.
It's shitty. It's sneaky. But this is why I don't really play online games anymore, because all of them now have to be like these games as services where I literally I want to go online and I just want to play and that's it. Like, I could have gotten a skin. Like, when I played Modern Warfare 2, it was like, cool, like, I got enough kills with this weapon to get a skin.
Right.
Like, now it's like, hey, pay me $10 and I'll put a giant zebra stripe on your gun. I'm like, no. Did you, speaking of this is related, did you know that kids today insult each other by calling them default?
Really?
Because in Fortnite, the default skin, and that's like telling the kids like, oh, they're poor because their parents didn't spend money on them to get skins in Fortnite.
Oh wow, I'm not surprised.
That's like an insult between kids now, and I'm just like, that's so sad, but and
that's what the gaming industry did.
Yeah,
they did that.
So now you're all defaults.
You're all defaults.
You're all D-pads.
Yeah, you're all
D-pads. You're all D-pads and cardboard cutouts of each other.
It's
Except
shitty.
You, JD, you're a joystick.
Yeah, you stupid joystick.
Actually, you know that is funny when with all the wrestling games, we'd always have the default character, right, in creative character mode, right?
Yeah.
And we'd give him the most basic fucking moves. Like his finishing move would be a hip toss or some shit, right?
Hell yeah.
But we'd make him like a 98 or not a perfect 100 or 99 rated. We'd make him like a 98, 97 where he could be possibly beatable. And we just named him Default, and he was the most badass guy. And we're like, no, we'd play Royal Rumble mode. It's like, no, Default's coming out. Fuck. It was just a thing friends and I would do. We'd what was the other one? Red Faction 2. We'd upload a bot and make him really fucking strong and OP AI and call him Defaults.
That's pretty good.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the gaming industry. Fucking skins are now worth more than like real currency.
Oh god. So then, speaking of Destiny 2 and Black Ops, this is something I got from Jim Sterling. They made Black Ops 4 made $500 million in its like initial 4 days weekend, and Destiny 2 failed to meet expectations to their investors and what they made. So they made a fuck ton of money, right? Not including the microtransactions. And then after so much time has come out, now they've implemented a lot of the DLC or microtransactions into it. It did not meet expectations to their investors. So, as Jim Sterling would put it, they didn't just want a shit ton of money. They wanted all the money.
Right.
So it kind of goes with that's my theory with what Activision Blizzard thinks they're doing. They think they can make this billions of dollars off a predatory mobile market, because that's what it is, and that's where they're putting their eggs. They're saying it's basically all these companies now going, here's a middle finger to all our fans, and we're gonna try and get this new fan base that can possibly get us more money instead of just sticking with what they've earned over the years.
Yeah, they care more about their investors than their customers. That's the problem.
And that's only a sign for terrible things to come for the company, and they fucking deserve it. Look at EA.
Exactly.
They deserve what they're getting right now.
I mean, at the end of the day, things that are cosmetic, whatever, charge for them. But like, when it's like stuff in like Battlefront, that's when I.
Exactly.
Well, I've had this conversation with Drew many times. I think we did a State of the Industry back in February of 2018 this year. Mm-hmm. And he's of the same mind. Like, skins and whatnot, that's fine. And I go, no, it's not fine. There was a time when you would play the game, and as you play the game, you unlocked these things. You earned them. You didn't pay extra money for it.
No, I'm not saying it's good, but like if they're gonna charge for anything, I can live with a skin or something cosmetic as opposed to being like, hey, double XP for an hour if you pay us $15. I'm like, because that's shitty. Like that, like skins or whatever. If you got extra money you want to throw around, go nuts. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But you know, when it's like pay to win things, then I'm like,
well, that's the mobile gaming.
Right, but that's why, like, in things like Fortnite, like...
I don't want to use formula.
No, I'm saying, like, when Fortnite does it, I'm like, okay, whatever. You want to look like a fucking unicorn, look like a fucking unicorn.
Well, Fortnite is free, so there's that at least going for it.
Yeah,
but what they do with their skins and what they're predatory there is they have their temporary season pass kind of thing, where these certain items and skins are only available for a limited time, and you basically have to buy them.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect the gameplay in the long run. You just want to look like a fucking unicorn.
Yeah, but you want to be called default, Kevin? I don't want to be called default.
That's true. I have been bullied at my table recently.
But that's where we're at. It's not good. What do you think? What do you think about investors being as greedy as they are, Colin? They setting expectations too high?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I mentioned in his video that the previous Call of Duty games had made more money in the same amount of time in the past, and that's what made the stock prices rise, and that's exactly what the investors want. So that they can make money. But if this is making less money and then the investors are potentially losing money, then I don't think it's as much greed as much as just an inflating bubble. And sooner or later, our pop and then Activision Blizzard, or no, just Activision. They're screwed at that point. They can't make any more possible money. At that, an upper limit that has to be reached. And
I think what scares me the most, and this is just something I've seen over the years, with even because I used to be an avid sports game fan. Like, I love sports and I loved my sports games. The early 2000s up until I want to say 2009, I got like every sports game every year. I would save my money up for those games. And that was NHL, that was NBA, that was FIFA. And what I noticed was around the end of that time period, more modes were coming out, and then all of a sudden the modes were just being taken away, right? So less content was being put into the games, less originality was being put into games, and then that's when FIFA Ultimate Team came out, right? And so nothing was taken out of the FIFA game, but then that came out, and I was like, really cool. Then at the very next year, that's when a couple modes started being taken out. Gameplay started feeling more sluggish. Less effort was being put in the game, and it was all being put in this FIFA Ultimate Team mode, and that's when it started getting really shady. And then that's also when NBA modes, like franchise mode was no longer multiplayer. NHL took out like 3 or 4 modes, including like a certain aspect of GM mode that was like really important. So you just saw a pattern with all the sports titles. Now we're seeing it not just in sports games. Over the last couple of years, we've seen it across all the games. Assassin's Creed now is this heavy grind fest that want you to pay microtransactions just so you can level up and play the fucking game. Grand Theft Auto is now online based, making just billions of dollars. I think it's the most profitable game ever. Is that correct, guys?
I think so.
I think Red Dead beat it now, but
well, no, GTA Online still exists, so
yeah, I don't know, maybe.
It's pretty. You're paying the same amount for less content and a worse game, basically.
Yep.
And if history tells us anything, people will just stop buying the games eventually.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a bubble waiting to burst, like you said, Colin. So then, speaking of shady shit, we're just rolling here. I saw this in the store the other day that Shadow of the Tomb Raider was on sale. Okay, yes, and I've seen games come out, and they're on sale 30, 60 days after release. Fair enough. But here's the point that pissed me off. It includes all the DLC as well.
Hell yeah.
You don't even have to buy the DLC separately. So what the fuck even?
Yeah.
So if you're a first-day buyer like I was, you don't get the DLC just for free. Which you should be entitled to because you were a first-day payer. If you're just going to release now, like, I don't even think 30 days passed before they just said, here's a discounted game, here's all the DLC included, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's why why buy a game day one anymore?
Well, this is the first time I've experienced something to this extent.
You are the beta tester for the rest of us. Thank you.
Oh.
I mean, the game, it's bad enough the game, you're getting it for almost so soon after its release.
Mm-hmm. It's
that whole thing with...
Go on, Colin.
Including all the DLC, that's salt on the wound. That's sticking the middle finger right up the people's asses.
Yeah. Well, I like all the Tomb Raider games. I want them to do well. I do like what they do. Even like a mediocre Tomb Raider game to me is still really fun. So I wanted to support day one, and that's what I did. But then just a month later, now there you go. Here's all the DLC, and it's just fuck off.
Yeah, really.
So I won't be doing that anymore. They basically lost a customer with that move. And then just for I know I have a lot of friends that did this one. Was they bought the season pass for Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, man.
All the 2019 DLC, basically everything to finish the story, has been canceled outright.
Oh boy.
Which is why you don't buy season passes, because you're buying a promise.
You're buying, yeah, that's exactly what. I've never bought a season pass before. I don't plan to, because it's just so shady.
I don't do Kickstarters either. I don't care how great that game is. I don't care how bad I want it to come out. That's a promise, and I get nothing if you decide I don't want to do it anymore.
And that's what happened. I haven't been able to find any confirmation that all those people that bought the Season 2 Season Pass for Final Fantasy 15, I think it's Season 2, that they'll get their money back. I think that Square just took their money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that has it has a lot to do with, I think it's the director. He left the company, so then they just went, well, all right, if he's gone, then we won't come out with this DLC. So they had like a $33 million operating loss or something because this DLC is not coming out now. So,
yeah.
So fucking annoying.
So that makes me real curious on what they're gonna do with Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think the game's already finished.
I think that game's never coming out.
My theory with Kingdom Hearts 3 is there's going to be season pass for extra like levels and modes of the story, just like what they did with Final Fantasy 15.
I pray that that's not the case. I mean, they've never felt the need to do it with any previous games.
But that wasn't 2018 now, was it?
No, but I will be seriously pissed if they do that.
Yeah, that's just my theory with what Square's been doing just lately. So, but in good news, get some good news here to finish it off. We've been bitching for like 30 minutes. Okay. Deltarune, the next game from the Undertale guy, it came out with a full 2-hour length demo, and it's for fucking free, guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping to play that soon.
It's a lot of fun. It feels like a full length game. It really does. The guy came out and said it's a demo. There's still some things and bugs to work out. And I was like, dude, this is like better than. It's better than a few games I played for the month of October.
He also said that he's not totally sold on finishing that game though.
And which is fine, it's up to him at the end of the day.
Well, yeah,
he didn't have to even release this.
No, I get that, but I just don't want people to be like, oh man, is anything coming from Deltarune? And he's like, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Here's a demo.
Yeah, but I feel like he's earned that. I mean, he's way more consumer friendly than everybody we've mentioned in the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, no kidding.
He actually cares about his fans. If he feels like he needs more time to work on it or just finish it, then I won't be nearly as angry or disappointed. I mean, we can at least say he tried.
So we should respect developers that respect their customers, is what you're saying?
Oh my god.
What a weird concept.
Yeah, the game has a lot of tongue-in-cheek, just like Undertale did, with all the imagination, so definitely go play it. You can just Google it and download it. EXE file, so good stuff there. Well then, anybody else got anything to say about some companies or some good news?
I don't know. I can't really. Nothing's really been catching my eye lately, news-wise.
What about some games you guys are looking forward to that are coming out? I got a small list in front of me. I usually do this on the Modern Gaming Cast, but I never get you guys' little take on things. Let's see here. What hasn't come out yet? Pokemon Let's Go?
Nah. Pass.
Fallout 76?
Nope.
Battlefield V?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Just Cause 4?
I'll buy it when it's $10. I haven't played 2 or 3, so I'll wait. Or 1.
Same game, right?
I mean, I played a little of 2, but I was like, I don't get the point here.
And Smash Ultimate. It's gonna finish out the year.
Smash Ultimate looks good.
That game looks insane. I'll probably get it down the line at some point. I don't think I'll be getting it in December.
Can we just ask the question, why the fuck are Piranha Plants a character?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. You'd think they'd put like a Waluigi or somebody, you know?
Waluigi. People like Waluigi the way people like Mustache, ironically.
Oh, well.
Nobody actually likes Waluigi.
May not be wrong there.
Except Jim Sterling.
Yeah.
Again, mustaches. That people grow them ironically. Nobody's like, I look good with this mustache.
Nah. I think I'm going to be getting a few PSVR games I've been meaning to get. Tetris Effect just came out.
Is that only VR?
No, it's not.
Oh, good.
But I have a VR, and it's VR compatible, and it's really... I got to demo that thing, and I was entranced.
I don't understand how Tetris works in VR or why would use it in VR, I guess. Just doesn't really make sense to me.
It felt like Luminous, and I was in the world. And I believe it's by the same people that made Luminous. Yeah, which makes sense.
Interesting.
And, Super Hot? What about it?
It's no longer VR required. It's like you can play it anyway now.
Yeah, it's not as fun though.
Oh.
It's definitely more fun in VR because you
wasn't even VR.
Was it?
I got the VR mode.
I think the next big non-VR game I'm gonna get is Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh yeah, that's coming out.
Yeah.
I should try the remakes of those games. I might like them better.
Or maybe I'll just get the Dark Souls port on the Switch.
No. Why? Why do you want to play worse Dark Souls?
Why do I want to what now?
Why do you want to play worse Dark Souls?
Not worse. It's just Dark Souls.
It's not going to run better on the Switch.
You can run better. It's the same game.
It's lower frame rate. Just using those Joy-Cons with those little buttons.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well, you know what? Some people in this world can't be saved. Am I right, Colin?
I have it on my PC already. I mean, I think I spent like $5 on it, so whatever.
I just want to know why.
What?
Hold on, one last thing. How come they were like Dark Souls Trilogy Remaster coming to PS4 and Xbox? Switch just gets Dark Souls 1.
Not sure.
I don't know why they dicked them like that.
Wait, Trilogy Remastered? No.
Well, no, isn't there like a Dark Souls Trilogy? Maybe it's not remastered, but like, that came out on like Xbox and PS4.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's why they did the re-release.
No.
I will fight you on this. I am looking this up.
No?
I'm fighting you. You start your next topic. I'm gonna look this up.
Well, our next topic is actually the games we played for the theme. So, drop time.
Nope. Hold on.
Hold on. Well, too bad. I'm playing
Dark Souls Trilogy, PlayStation 4. Suck my dick.
When's it coming out?
It's out. It came out the same day as Dark Souls
The
Remastered.
trilogy.
Yes, it's a
1, 2, and 3. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They forgot the best game though, Demon Souls.
Maybe all 3 games couldn't fit on a Switch cartridge. I know Dark Souls 3 would not work on a Switch.
Well,
For sure.
That makes. All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna play the Castlevania music again because I like that music.
Miss Chrono Cross.
Oh no, Chrono Cross. It's Castlevania. It hasn't been overused yet. Not yet, anyways.
That's how we handle that.
Alrighty.
I will tell my story for Chrono Cross.
So this was and is episode 32 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. This is the strange and the weird. This was my theme, me being JD. These are strange and weird games. So you know, pretty vague, but it definitely got us to think outside the box and pick games that we you know, don't really fit into the other categories like a shoot 'em up or a beat 'em up or what have you. So this was a good opportunity. And if you're just joining us, welcome. If you want to participate in a ongoing contest that we're running right now through the month of November, head over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio, leave us a review, take a screenshot of that, and send it to @BowlingJD. You'll be entered into the contest. Follow us on YouTube and follow us on Podbean are the other 2 ways. You can enter more than once. I encourage it for sure. Upload that screenshot to @BowlingJD, like I said, and you will get to pick an anime for us to review for the anime cast, a theme with 2 games of your choice for us to play on the cast, or a wrestler highlight in a wrestling podcast episode. So it's your choice of the 3. So here we are. My theme. It's been a while. I'm very excited. And the first game we're going to talk about is Oddworld Abe's Odyssey for the Sony PlayStation.
Woohoo!
It was developed by, you guessed it, Oddworld inhabitants. Basically, only make the Oddworld games. Published by GT, published by GT Interactive Software, now known as Atari Incorporated.
Cool.
It was released in September 19th, 1997. So, this is, as the title would say, an odd game. So, it definitely, I had to pick an Oddworld game, and I've never played the first one before. This was the first one.
Okay.
And I was first introduced to the Oddworld franchise as a kid with Exodus, and my uncle had a PlayStation. So, and it was the strangest fucking thing I've ever seen on a video game console, even prior to that. So, you are an alien named Abe, and you're a, what would you call him, like a half squid type anteater looking thing.
He looks like Squidward.
They're called Mudokons.
Mudokons, that's the word.
Yeah, there's a lot of words and names like that in the game. And it's the gameplay reminds me of Heart of Darkness, Another World type thing, where you move left to right, screen to screen, and you solve puzzles to advance through the game. And the puzzles include trying to save your fellow aliens from, and the plot is he works at a like a manufacturing plant, and the company's going through hard times, and their next new big product is basically turning all their Mudokon workers into this new food titled the New and Tasty. That's what they're marketing as. So Abe finds out that they're going to be used for food, and he has to escape the factory. And along his journey trying to escape the factory, he gathers his fellow simpleton workers to escape. And there's guards known as Sligs that are just about on every screen. You have to kind of figure out a way to either avoid the Slig or kill the Slig using trapdoors or grinders or what have you. So very, very interesting and weird concept of a game. Everything's with pre-rendered backgrounds, so it still holds up to this day and plays surprisingly quite well, despite the slippery controls. Now, I played the original version. Colin, you played the remake version, New and Tasty, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
I assume the controls are less slippery in that version.
Actually, when I watched a comparison video for it, because I haven't played the original version, I found out they're actually worse.
Wow.
They're more slippery because you're using the analog stick and not the D-pad.
Oh no.
Few of the platforming spots, even more trouble than they're worth.
Oh, interesting.
Did
I
they
did not expect that.
To use the D-pad?
D-pad in the new version you use to communicate with your fellow Mudokons to get them to follow you or wait.
Yeah, the controls are pretty complicated. It took a little bit to get used to. Like L1, you have to hold L1 and then use the face buttons to communicate, or use L2 and those will do. Hold L2 and then use the face buttons to do different actions there. So, okay, all right.
The guy who was doing that comparison video, his main beef was with the difference in visual styles between the two of them, because the original looked very gritty, very realistic.
Oh yeah,
and it conveyed a lot more. But in the New and Tasty, it just went overboard with like making it look so extravagant. Like there's all these bright colors, there's these bloom effects. It just doesn't really.
A lot of unnecessary things. Okay.
Game in his eyes.
Vaseline.
Wow. It kind of reminds me of that Medieval remake on the PSP. In so many ways, yeah.
He still considers it a good game overall. It's just a step down from the original version.
That's too bad, because I was really enjoying it. There was so much things happening on the screen at one time. Like, I believe it was the third or fourth screen you get to. You pull a lever on the screen before it, and it activates these barrels, and now they're falling from conveyor belts and kind of exploding, and they're popping to the screen at you, and it feels like it's coming right at you. It's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, New and Tasty does the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, my history with this game is I first saw an ad for it in the PC Gamer magazine back in the early 2000s. I was always curious to see what it was like to play, since it specifically said you didn't really have any weapons or fighting abilities and just wearing a loincloth, no armor or what have you. So he was basically an unlikely hero. And I remember so much of the time since then wondering, why the heck does he have his mouth sewn shut? It's like,
I believe,
I'm not sure if it's ever explained in game.
I believe I think you're supposed to assume that the investors or the owners of the company just do that so their workers won't talk to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was actually confirmed at one point when I did my research. And in Abe's case, it was to keep him from doing his mystical chanting, which is a big part of the game. You do that to like mind control enemies or open up portals to help your Mudokons escape.
Yeah, so while their mouths are sewn, I guess they have a limited range.
Yeah.
What I figured. It was a pretty interesting mechanic, and they teach it to you right away, and then shortly thereafter there's certain screens where there's kind of these like red balls at the top of the screen. It'll zap you if you try to use it. So I kind of like that. It gets you to think outside the box. So this red ball's not in here. I should use my mind control power, or it is there. I shouldn't.
I can't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
Now, one thing I liked about the game is the visual style combined with its kind of dark, goofy sense of humor. It's like very dark, gritty setting. Like
you can make the character
food
fart.
processing.
Best button, by the way.
Yeah, it is the best button.
On like this gritty food processing factory, industrialized wasteland, kind of creates a bit of cognitive dissonance, but it kind of works at the same time. Kind of like watching the climax of Roger Rabbit without any of the preceding movie, which I actually did as a kid when it was on TV.
So Kevin, what did you think of this game?
So I actually got exposed to it the same way that you got. Well, you said it first, right, GD? Your uncle had it, or was it Colin?
I said my uncle had it.
Yeah. So my mom's brother had it on a PlayStation, and me and my older brother first played it, and we saw the pre-rendered backgrounds, and it looked interesting, so we tried playing it, but we could not figure anything out when we were little. We just kind of sat there, hit the fart button a lot, and then someone got to this puzzle where you had to drop something so another Madokan can cross, and we were just lost. So I just remember that this game as a kid being like, "This game's kind of stupid. I don't like it." But now that I'm older, I get what it's trying to do. It's a lot of puzzle platformy stuff. It's just not my genre. It's just too slow moving for me. I mean, I get it, I respect it, and I get what it's trying to do, but no, it's not for me.
Fair enough. The save system was quite interesting. So there's checkpoints within the game, but you don't know when these checkpoints come. They're kind of like every 2 to 3 screens. I came to find out. So the funny thing on the save system on the PlayStation was when it looks like you can kind of save state the game, but it actually saves you at that checkpoint from the screen. And what happens is every slot on the memory card, when you save it, it'll save a new slot into the memory card. So as you play the game, more and more slots will be filled up. Luckily, there's a delete save button, so once you fill it up, every time you save after that, you'll have to delete one and then save, so it becomes kind of a task in that sense. I totally assume they fixed that in the remake.
I really hope they didn't. I hope they use a whole gigabyte and you have to delete. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it sticks to one file, but actually do give you visual cues as to where the checkpoints are.
That's just a nice little quality of life improvement, but I think I would take the easier controls.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the best I can describe this game is Tokitori meets Out of This World, like you said, JD, meets Lemmings.
Oh, yeah. Tokitori. Go back to the Game Boy cast on that one, just 2 episodes ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought because you're this main goopy looking character, it was just so odd, and the characters don't really talk to each other. They have this weird kind of nasally voice. They're just like, "Hello, I'm Abe. How you doing? Okay. Follow me, okay."
Poses. So that makes sense.
Really goofy, really strange overall. The food processing. And the fact that I think it has like 4 sequels at this point, just super hot. It doesn't.
They're all weird spin-offs.
Yeah, there's Abe's Exodus and Munch's Odyssey, but I don't remember any others.
I haven't played anything after Exodus. Like, I've only played Exodus prior to this, and that was back in the 90s. So it's been almost 20 years now since I even played an Oddworld game, and I was just like, I remember the game being really strange. I can't remember like what it was. I remember it was like a puzzle thing, but I was too dumb as a kid to figure it out.
Here's the other thing that's weird about this game. If they're using their workers to make them food, eventually they would run out of workers.
Well, that was the problem with a couple of their other food items.
Ah, yeah.
It was like we used to make this, but they went extinct. So then we moved on to make this. We're still making these,
and now they're going extinct.
This is very weird.
And that actually reminds me. There's sort of a similarity in theme to Final Fantasy VII here, because we find out later that the animals that they're using to make their current food were considered sacred in where the Mudokons lived.
Oh.
The balance force for the rest of the planet, but obviously this Rupture Farms, the corporation that enslaves Abe and his kin, they're a bunch of greedy bastards. They don't care. They just want to make money.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. So, needless to say, it does live up to its name, Oddworld. It is an odd game with
absolutely
with unique gameplay. I quite liked it. I love the pre-rendered backgrounds. Still holds up to this day. I think it's if you're into the puzzle type platformers like me and Colin are, then definitely check it out. And it's cheap. It's I got my copy for $5. Price charting says it goes for about $8 on average, so that's probably like with the case and stuff.
Local store sells it for.
This gets an easy pass from me, and I'm thinking once I beat New and Tasty, I want to actually get the original PlayStation version and play that to see how it compares.
Yeah, you can get, I think, the PSN store version for like $7 or $6.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's going for on. I wonder if it's on Good Old Games.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. It did later. It did later come out on the PC.
I thought it came out on PC first.
Alrighty.
Like I said, I found it on what's it called? In PC Gamer magazine. So.
Ooh, PC gaming.
I found out about a lot of other games and not a lot of people talk about, like The Last Express or
what?
The Last Express is good. Yeah, I like Good Old Games for the old point and click adventures, and there's a lot they just give out for free.
$7.79 Canadian on Good Old Games. Oddworld.
Yeah, so that's about the price it goes. Not bad.
So they get a better computer. I'm playing it.
I sure hope your computer's good enough to play a PS1 game.
Nope.
Alrighty, so Kevin, does it get a pass from you even though the game's not for you?
Do I have a really valid horse in this race? I don't know. I mean, I get it. It seems cool. I say give it a try, but it's not for my ADD brain.
Okay, so it gets a pass, just not for you.
Right.
Okay. All right. So my second pick was a game called Bonk's Adventure for the TurboGrafx-16, the mascot of the console that tried to compete with the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo Entertainment System before the Super Nintendo came out.
For sure.
Developed by Red Company, later owned that we know now as Atlas.
Yes.
And published by Hudson Soft and NEC Entertainment. So Hudson Soft was the company for the TurboGrafx/PC Engine, much like let's say Naughty Dog is for Sony, kind of deal.
A second-party developer, if you will.
Sure.
That's a phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? It's a major company that makes exclusives for the console. Second party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm down with that. I'm down with that wordage, Kevin. You're a genius.
Thanks, bro.
It was released in North America 1990, Japan December 15th, 1989. So, nice. Like I said, platform exclusive, became the mascot. Left to right rescue, left to right platformer. The premise is rescue Princess Za, so it's a damsel in distress, but not actually a woman. It's a pink, like, brontosaurus type dinosaur that was stolen by King Drool, which is like this green T-Rex dude. And the instruction manual says, and use your head. So in this case, it means it literally, because your only attack is using your big doofy head, because you're a little caveman named Bonk.
Headbutt.
Well, named Bonk in North America. In Japan, he's named more or less PC Kid, because the PC Engine, PC Genjin. It's kind of like a play on words for it. Japan loves their puns, so
yeah,
there you go.
Bad pun.
I prefer Bonk over PC Kid for sure.
Definitely like Bonk way better.
So before I go into all of the nitty-gritty of the game itself, I want to know your thoughts, Kevin.
Well, things just went silent on me. Hold on. Are you back? I'm
Kevin,
here.
what are your thoughts over this game before I go into the nitty-gritty of it all?
I played this, actually downloaded on PS3, believe it or not. They have the TurboGrafx release.
Cool.
It was fun. It's a pretty standard platformer. I mean, I say standard, but it was, how do I describe it? There was nothing really special about it, but it was really, really fun. To make sense. I like the personality of Bonk. I thought the game had a lot of charm. I remember demoing the NES version also. Like,
oh no!
Oh no! Different game.
Yeah.
It felt the same to me. I mean, from what I remember, I thought it was pretty similar. Is it not? Do I remember it wrong?
Well, maybe when the TurboGrafx went out, they ported it to the NES, and it was a weird version. I know when Super Bonk came out, they went really batshit weird and crazy with it.
Super Bonk is weird as fuck.
Kitty, get off the mic table. Come on.
Kitty.
No, it was he's laying down. He's not having it.
It's affordable to play on like PSN. I would recommend it. Again, I do like the diving headbutt mechanic because you really have to like time and jump your attacks to get the right angle instead of just like jumping on it like Mario.
Oh yeah.
But once you got used to that, pretty good game. I liked it a lot. Luckily, there's cheap ways to play it now.
Well, it's still not a very expensive game, considering if you're a TurboGrafx 16 collector.
You have to own a turbo, though.
Well, I own a... See, I actually got a PC Engine when I was in Montreal.
Whoa.
And it was, yeah. And it was modded to play TurboGrafx games.
Madman.
A new follower.
Hey!
Yay!
I'll have to look that up later. So somebody entered into the contest for sure.
Hello, person.
So let's see, where was I? What was my train of thought? Oh yeah, so I got a modded PC Engine in Montreal, and it can play TurboGrafx games. Because a lot of the let's face it, a lot of the PC Engine library or TurboGrafx library is on the PC Engine with a lot of Japan exclusives, etc. But this is, I think, one of the strangest games to come out of the early 90s, especially considering this turned into a mascot character. Like in the first level, you learn that you attack with... I gotta get my cat off this table. He's being real bad.
Bad kitty.
He's being a bad kitty.
Bad Mr.
He's starting to bite even the microphone cord, and it's like, bad.
That might be bad.
So, yeah, you're the short little caveman with a doofy head, and you're fighting all these dinosaurs that have like skulls on their heads, and they're evil, and you get eaten by a dinosaur in the second like stage or level 1-2. You're in the dinosaur, and you have to avoid its uvulas and its little microorganisms attacking you, and then you get shot out its butt into a boss battle.
Yeah, that would really work, yeah. I had the anatomy of a dinosaur spot on, by the way. Very good.
Yeah, right? Yeah, multiple uvulas.
Yeah. And swim through its stomach acids.
The old brontosaurus. I remember studying that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an archaeologist.
So a regular bonk attack, you hit and he just kind of swings his head. Doesn't have much range, so the game kind of wants you to get used to that jumping smash head attack.
The Chris Benoit diving headbutt, yeah.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
bad
I said
taste.
it.
Daniel
Oh,
Bryan
that's-
diving headbutt.
That's not better, but okay.
Or you can jump up to enemies that are above you, and then you can take them out that way. So there's 3 different ways you can attack an enemy. So the fact that you just don't, like you said, Kevin, jump on an enemy's head, it gets a little bit more of a thinking process into how you're attacking enemies. Makes you a little bit more careful.
It was the only way I felt that was like really good to it. Swinging head thing, I almost found useless.
Well, yeah, and that only does what I amount to like 1 point of damage, while the jump smash attack does 2, which is why some enemies take, you know, seemingly 6 hits to take out at times, especially in the later levels. There's one that's a dinosaur, and he takes like 8 hits, but you're meant to kind of ignore them, just avoid them. So after each boss, a level is filled with caves that I found out, and that kind of gives you fruit bonuses or challenge stages, which are kind of fun. It's kind of a good breather, so to say. Found those pretty fun. You can find hidden heart containers within levels to increase your total health, so kind of like a Zelda in a sense. But instead of beating a boss and getting a heart level, they're just scattered throughout the levels. You also find meat in levels, mostly in these like turnip-looking plants.
Super bonk.
And you become Super Bonk, like Super Mario. However, this ability, much like when Mario goes into star mode, it only lasts a certain amount of time. Well, all the meat power-ups function that way. You get 1 meat power-up. He gives you the abilities to, if you do your jump smash attack, everything turns to stone around him. It stops in midair for some jumping enemies. If you get 2, I believe that's when he goes Super Bonk mode. Then
and then you can do 2 of those jump smash freeze attacks.
Right. And you can when you jump, you can actually make him turn in the air. Use like his doofy head to get some momentum. I thought that was kind of funny. It makes this kind of twirly sound.
And don't forget that he has a nuclear explosion come out of his head every time he gets his power up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he does.
So funny.
Thing is, that you're making all these comparisons to Mario, and I guess that's why necessarily unique, because I'm just like, this is Turbo Mario, I guess. You know?
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Sonic. He's just faster.
No, you can't.
But they're all kind of a platformer is always reference to Mario in so many ways. It's just very easy to understand, and you're able to grasp a picture much easier. So the other thing you collect through levels is are these smiley faces when you kill enemies, and this will actually replenish your hearts after completing a stage. So a stage has like 6 levels to it, more or less, and that will replenish all of your hearts. You also can collect fruit, which will sort of replenish the heart, because this is the other thing I like what this game does. You just don't have like this enemy hits you, you lose a heart, or this enemy hits you, you lose another heart. The enemies, depending on how strong they are, will do more damage or less damage accordingly to how strong that enemy is. So I really like that. It's something Mario doesn't do. How about that, Kevin?
Listen, you and your turbo shish.
So I'm wondering when the game started getting hard for you guys.
Level 2.5.
Ah, same as me.
That level can go eat a dick.
That part was hard, but after that, I didn't really have that. I didn't beat.
My main problem with it was the vine swinging mechanic. I hate that mechanic. It's done so badly in this game.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Because if you try jumping off right at its apex of its swing going right, you suddenly jump left. It's like, what? That's so counterintuitive. You have to precisely jump off right before it reaches its apex, and that doesn't sit well with me. I lost so many lives to that mechanic.
Oh, see, I learned my lesson off the first try and just skipped it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to use the vines. Yeah. But with doing that, you run the risk of falling to the bottom of that stage, and that's where the like tar, which does damage to you, with a lot of the dragonflies below. They kind of do this hover maneuver. It's hard to dodge at times.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Most of the enemies in this stage fly, and that's really frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard to hit.
Yeah. 2-5 was definitely when that's right in my notes. That's when I lost a just ton of lives. Would have to start the game over.
It's not that I couldn't beat it, but every time I did, it was a Pyrrhic victory.
I'm curious, Kevin, does the PSN version, or even the what used to be the Wii U Virtual Console, does it have like a save state function?
Nope, you're on your own for PS3.
Oh, cool. That's the same thing.
I didn't use the save state, at least. I didn't see any option. So
I like the death mechanic in it. You just don't start the level over. He just kind of lays there for a little bit, and then he just springs back to life. Like he took a shot of adrenaline.
It kind of made it seem like too arcadey. Like, did I actually get punished for this? I almost felt like I was playing on the PS3. Like, if I put a quarter in, I pick right back up. So like, I didn't know if that was unique to the PSN version or if it was just.
No, it was in Turbo Graphics too.
Yep.
Okay.
Came in handy on that third boss, the monkey boss. That monkey boss killed me a couple times, but luckily because you keep all the damage and you stay in there, you keep all the damage done to the monkey.
I didn't get as far as the third boss. The first boss is piss easy. You just do a dive bomb on top of his head, and then you'll bounce off, and then just keep doing dive bombs and dive bombs, bouncing off and hitting again. Just do that till you win.
Yeah, second boss was much harder, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Good game.
One fun thing is on 3-2, there's a bone bridge, right? If you make it all the way across, you can skip to 3-5, and you get an extra life.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
And that's very useful because 3-4 is like this wild ice stage with a lot of enemies shooting arrows. So it's such a reward for getting across that bone bridge. But the funny thing is 3-2, if you don't make it across the bone bridge, you go to the bottom of like an ocean or something, and that's the stage. That's it. It's like, well, you didn't make it, so here's 2 more stages that you have to get through. I thought that was kind of unique and cheeky of the game. Let's see, the meat animation of his head exploding, kind of like I think it's curry in later games, and it gets real spicy. Or no, I think it's curry in the Japanese version, and it's a big meat chunk in the American version. The most goofy animation is definitely how Bonk uses his teeth, and he has this wild grin to climb up walls. And waterfalls, by the way.
Yeah. What you use to like climb walls and such.
Yeah.
It's really goofy.
Very odd. Yeah, everything in the game is goofy. A lot of facial animations, a lot of weird tongue-in-cheek. By the bosses after you beat them, they have those same like skull, what's the word? Mind control things on them, and they always just like, "You saved me. You're the best, Bonk." But they have some weird line instead of that, like "bonk on" or something. And
well, Bonk, you're so handsome.
Go bonk yourself.
Smurf.
Yeah, I believe there's only 5 stages in total, so I got pretty far. I got pretty stuck on 4-1 and 2. Not stuck.
Yeah, I like the cartoony style of everything, but one thing that was a sticking point for me was the moon. The outline and parallaxing of it isn't very well done. Doesn't really feel like the moon is in the sky. It feels like it's right there, like some kind of airship.
What an odd thing to pick out, but okay.
No, it's massive. It's massive. It's like taking up half the screen.
Yeah. But the way it's animated, it doesn't feel like it's in the sky. It feels like it's just right above your head.
Weird.
Well, that's a good example of what the PC Engine was capable of. They were able to parallax a couple screens. So it was that good definition of that Nintendo to Super Nintendo period. Of this is where the technology was. It's got all the PC Engine games have a very unique picture to it all because of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially in the Alex Kidd was Master System, so that's what it reminded me of.
So you should know that.
It was more detailed than Alex.
I felt the background music was a little repetitive. I don't think the loops went any longer than, say, 20 seconds.
That's true.
I do like the music that plays when you're in invincible mode. It sounds like accordion polka on fast forward.
Accordion polka.
Yeah, okay, sure.
It really does.
I'm not saying you're wrong, just sure.
That is funny. That's quite the comparison.
Weird Al.
Thank you, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Weird Al is so proud of Colin right now.
So Bonk is pretty strange, but it's strange in a nice little unique way from a lot of platformers of the time. It's very fun to play. It gets a pass from me.
Same here.
Yep, agree.
Right. Well, Kevin,
good platformer.
You got the next pick. This is your first game.
Kabuki Quantum Fighter. Oh, it's based off the anime. There's no anime. I made that up. Kabuki Quantum Fighter for NES. Super weird, unique. Okay, how do I describe the story of this game? You wrote it, didn't you? Let me look. I did
write it.
Thank you. Because guess what? I couldn't understand this. All right, you are a kabuki dancer that fights with your large hair as you are sucked into a computer to stop. It got. Honestly, I couldn't follow the story for my fucking life, so I'm glad you wrote this right now. To stop a virus. Excuse me? So, yeah, the game was very similar. A lot of hair whipping mechanic, but more than Ninja Gaiden, I think this was HAL Labs. It's developed by HAL Labs, by the way. It's kind of their take. I felt like more like Batman on it.
Yeah, Batman on the NES.
Yeah, I feel like this game was really similar. They kind of got direct inspiration from that. Oh, hey, look, you just wrote that. Background sprite work reminded me of Batman. It's like I read or something like that.
It's almost like we played it pretty recently on the podcast.
Oh, shit, man, you're right. Yeah, no, it's a really difficult platformer. I think more than Batman, even, it reminds me of Shantae. At least for Game Boy Color, you got a lot of hair.
That was my thoughts exactly.
Yeah, but like, this is one of the few videos I did like a review for YouTube when I cared about YouTube. And the whole time, all I thought about was like, it was Shantae, and this game is just weird. And this story makes like, if I just played this game like as most people did as NES games, like, you're a kabuki going around doing platform stuff, whatever. But it's all about like the future and reliving your ancestors' memories. Oh, Assassin's Creed 2, look at that. Through a computer simulation.
Why 2? The first one did that.
No, I meant Assassin's Creed in general.
You specifically said 2, which I was like, what?
Well, I meant TOO.
Okay.
Grammar.
I'd say I'd compare it more to Tron than anything else.
Yeah,
Tron.
Tron.
Okay.
Tron is what it stuck out to me, but I definitely see both of you guys, what you're saying.
Yeah, super weird game. I love this platformer. It actually went up in price recently because it's very underrated. I would say. I feel like this is a platform on NES like nobody talks about. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
It's okay.
All right then.
I mean, the character in the real world is not a kabuki guy, but he ends up taking the form of it when he gets converted into data and goes into the computer system because apparently his great-great-grandfather was a famous kabuki actor.
That's how
sure,
it works,
why not?
Yeah. Your grandpa also ran a bunch of taco stands? No. I love this game.
So it was developed by Human Entertainment. So if you remember from our spooky horror episode, that was the same developer that made Clock Tower.
That's right, they did, huh?
Yeah, published by HAL Labs, which is the Kirby company. Released Japan December 21st, 1990. North America January 1991, and in Europe February 1992.
Whoa,
So another good example of Europe getting the game like a year or two later.
Dude, guys, this game's going up in price. I bought this for $7 in my local store. The average running is now like 20.
17.
Oh wow.
17.
That's what you bought it for?
No, what it goes for. It's what it's price charting at.
I'm looking at eBay sold listings right now.
Price charting has it at 17 on average.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it has the same kind of layout as Ninja Gaiden, as I would put it, with all the health bars and pegs. Even the jumping mechanic felt very Ninja Gaiden-esque, but instead of wall jumping, you have a lot of these platforms that you swing up.
Yes.
So it has this down. It has like a lot of the levels is left to right, and then you go, up a level, go right to left, up again. Does a lot of that kind of stuff. So that's how you proceed. I thought for the most part the hit detection felt a little weird. Never you mind the plot, and the premise is super strange.
Yeah.
The plot in an NES game strange? What?
Yeah, well, I mean, a kabuki sucked into a computer Tron style to stop a virus, so.
Yep.
And keep the nuclear holocaust from happening.
Right.
Because
yeah,
reasons.
That's right.
That's how that works.
That is exactly how it works. But I thought the hit detection with the hair mechanic was a little bit off, because the hair, when you press a button and he whips the hair, it's at a diagonal. So like Shantae was kind of straight out, and you had a duck mechanic, for low enemies. While this one was just this weird diagonal motion. And
yeah,
instead of like any sort of screen flash, it was just you would hit it, and if you'd hit the enemy, you would barely be able to notice that you actually did anything to it. Boss battles would have a sort of flash to it, but regular enemies, they would just kind of poof into a circle. So if you were off, then they just wouldn't die, but you'd think you'd hit them. So that took a lot of getting used to. Not great game breaking, but just, kind of a quality of life deal that could have been fixed. We mentioned that the background and sprite work reminded me of Batman. Played a lot with those dark and purple colors. I didn't think it was as detailed as Batman, though.
No, this is way less. Oh, it's simpler than Batman, but I kind of like this game more.
Why is that?
Fair enough.
I don't know, just more unique. I don't know. Maybe I played.
But you're not. But you're not Batman.
Okay, I'm Kabuki Man.
Kabuki Man. I'm Kabuki Man.
That's like the worst Batman sidekick ever. Kabuki Man.
Kabuki Man, dance for me.
Kabuki Man. We got Kabuki Man.
I thought the boss battles in this was really lame.
Yeah. They were kind of boring.
Like the first couple are these simple ninja sprites jumping around, and again the hit detection just didn't really detect with me.
Or
I didn't
maybe
detect it.
The fact that you were reliving his enemy was, so they just went with a ninja, I guess. Must have been a ninja, guys. He's Japanese.
Part Japanese, anyway.
Part Japanese, part Kabuki.
I'm not sure how I like this chip system. They're like shurikens. You get a limited amount in the levels. They refill upon each level completion. You can upgrade the chips and switch between them. I think you get a fireball at one point, if I remember correctly. Does more damage, but
Castlevania-esque in that sense. Sort of like Castlevania in that sense.
Yeah, but in Castlevania you collect hearts, and that determines how much you can use the secondary.
Yeah.
In this case, you just have this limited amount.
Oh, yeah.
And it has a very limited range, despite being something you throw.
Yeah, I thought for sure there were some items you could pick up to replenish.
Yeah, it was very few and far between. Is kind of the point there. So it felt like you couldn't use them. You had to use them in just a specific section on a level, hopefully you gain a little bit back for the boss battle, because if you don't have any chips going to the boss battle, you're probably going to die every time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of where I had an issue with it, because I got to level 4, which would be the boss that was like a robot that would go on ceiling. So it was it was the first instance of not a jumpy ninja going around. And while he's on the ceiling, you can't attack, and it has like little drones that come out, and they do damage to you, and they're like really small and impossible to hit. To me, that particular boss was sort of like not totally game breaking, but it was definitely made in that specific point to cause you to not beat the game as quick as you were. Just one of those very obvious things. So, and you only get 2 continues to complete all 6 levels. So you're over that halfway point, and then the game just kind of goes, all right, we're getting really tough here. Kind of the Contra effect, I felt.
Really a NES game effect, honestly.
Yeah, basically any NES.
You're winning. We got to put a stop to this right now.
So it was definitely unique and kind of odd. That's for sure. Especially with the whole you're a Kabuki warrior thing.
Kabuki warrior.
Kevin, I think you're right. It's not a game many people have played, and I think it's worth a try.
Definitely worth a try.
Yeah,
those are my thoughts on it.
To Ninja Gaiden and Batman in this, but I also want to point out the visuals also heavily remind me of the first Mega Man.
Why is that?
Ooh.
I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from the visuals.
Unique comparison.
That's purely a visual.
I didn't remember any of the music in this game, though.
No, not very memorable.
But I do remember it was enjoyable to listen to. At the very least, it wasn't irritating.
That's a good start.
That's a start. I don't remember the music, but I wasn't annoyed, so that's a good plus.
Side note, I was another podcast I was listening to. They one guy to give his impressions on Red Dead. He's like, "I'm not offended that it exists," and they go, "Okay, great. That told us a whole lot."
I'm not offended by it. Like, okay.
Well, I didn't hate it. Good. Good game? Good game.
Pass. I give it a pass.
Sick.
It gets a barely pass. I think it's worth checking out. I don't think it's great by any means.
No, but it's fine.
It's fine. All right, next game, Kevin.
Okay. You want to know you like Disney? Yeah, you like Disney?
I've heard of Disney.
You like Donald Duck?
Yeah, sure. He doesn't wear pants.
You like Donald Duck's alter ego, Maui Mallard?
He's okay. He's no Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, Maui Mallard, you know.
That's not Donald.
No, it's Donald. Shut up.
Darkwing Duck is not Donald.
That's why I said he's no Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever heard of Maui Mallard, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard of Cold Shadow?
Oh, yeah.
No, you haven't. Don't fucking lie to me. Nobody's heard of this. It is You've heard of Cold Shadow before this?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard the game before.
No, I'd never heard of him before this. So essentially, it's Donald Duck dressed up as Maui Mallard. Spooky mansion. I couldn't figure out why he was here, but I don't know if that was in the story, the opening
it was.
Intro. It was? I skipped it. So
I have it written down, too, on the agenda.
Well, I can't read.
Wow, the American education system is worse than I thought. Ah!
Visiting a tropical island, the mysterious Shabulum idol goes missing. Shaboom, consider the island's native guardian spirit, and unless the idol is recovered, the whole island, damn it, it's cut off. I can't read, JD.
Will explode.
All right, it'll blow up. Let's go with that. So Maui Mallard goes to the island to save the idol. In his travels, I forget who turns him into a ninja. Some weird genie thing turns him into a ninja. The game's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It's Donald Duck playing as Maui Mallard, playing as a ninja.
Yep.
And a weird Disney platformer that, believe it or not, is now retconned by Disney. They don't want to relive any of
it. It's retconned?
Yeah, they don't want Donald Duck portrayed as a ninja because they feel he's too violent.
Yeah, the North American version actually, it's not actually Donald Duck. It's just a standalone character, Maui Mallard, who becomes Cold Shadow.
I think so. I wrote that down. I think it's omitted because so here's how weird the development and publishment system was and its release. Okay, so developed by Disney Interactive for the Sega Genesis version. Developed by Eurocom, which is a British company, for the Super Nintendo version. Okay, follow me so far.
Yep.
However, it was published in the EU by the Sega company, so Disney, which is an American company.
Yeah.
Tectoy in Brazil for the Genesis, which is a Brazilian company in Brazil, so that kind of made sense. But Capcom published it in Japan, and Nintendo published it in North America for the Super Nintendo.
Totally makes sense. I can keep track of that.
Wait, I thought Virgin Interactive did it in America.
Nope.
Well,
Nintendo.
Okay, I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah. So the European company with the Nintendo of America published it in America.
Nice.
And the Sega companies by the American developer published it in Europe. So, and this is a case where it came out in Brazil first, Europe second in December 95, Super Nintendo in North America in 97, so we got it last. Europe and Japan got it in late 96.
You getting all this?
Totally not confusing.
Totally not confusing at all. It's just super weird development and publishment cycle. I don't know what was going on. I imagine it had to do with Disney and the rights. It had to.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just all over the place.
So this game is really weird that it even exists.
Yeah.
The game itself also weird. Not exactly the tightest controls, I guess I'd say. Donald Duck is very kind of stuck in his animations where, like, if you use step, he has to take a certain, like, animation cycle. For turning around, his sprite's very wide.
It did feel overly animated, that's for sure.
Yeah. But once you get kind of used to how he works, and the jump and attack buttons are kind of backwards.
Yep.
Also didn't really help. But, like, once you get around it and you kind of sink into this game, it's just so weird that I had to keep playing. It's so strange that, like, there's a Disney character being portrayed as a killing machine, for lack of a better word. I don't know how you guys felt about it. Part platformer or shooter, I guess. Part action platformer. Using your bow staff to get around these temples and rushing across, getting in fights with other duck ninjas who are mysteriously unnamed.
Half action platformer, half run and gun.
Yeah, I guess that's the word. A lot of bugs that give you powers for your... That was also kind of fun. But you don't become a ninja right away, which is something I didn't remember in this game when I was younger. I remember going right into playing this. I was like, I know, where does he become a ninja? I thought it was really quick. But
no, it's way later.
Yeah, it's technically in the second... I guess the second chapter, but, like, there's a bunch of stages that split up a chapter. So I remember, I remember being second level, but I was like, "Fuck, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?" And then,
the way the game describes it is, it separates into levels. So the opposite of the way Bonk did it, where it was stage 1-2. This was level 1-2. Right. I mean, just the words are switched around, but there'd be like 3 or 4 stages to go through before completing a full level, which could run anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes per level. Each stage goes 5 to 7, 8-ish, depending on if you know where to go.
Yeah, you can get lost in this game pretty easily.
Because it's not a linear game at all. It's very wander until you find the exit, which is generally at the top right.
Yeah.
Gotta make your way over there, or at least try to find your way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys say you've you've never heard of this game until now, but I remember as a kid, I would always see this magazine ad for it. I can't remember if it was in Archie Comics or Sports Illustrated for kids, but shows an image of Cold Shadow looking badass, and the ad says in big letters, "He's not a duck, he's a SWAT team with feathers." And
that's pretty cool.
Somehow that's stuck in my mind.
SWAT team with feathers. I like that.
Yeah, I never actually got to play it until now.
Yeah. I remember my brother, when we had like a nice Microsoft, I think it must have been 95. I don't think it was DOS. But I remember playing this on PC, and that was the first way we played this game. And I don't remember if it was an official PC release, because I don't think there was. So I think it was like the first time we ever used a Super Nintendo emulator.
Oh, yeah.
We were running on a PC. I think it may be like one of his friends at school tried to show him. But try to play this game on a keyboard, by the way. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I imagine not, because the controls felt pretty slippery and floaty. So, this reminded me of a few games in one, and didn't nail any of those few games.
Okay.
So I thought the changing of the left to right motion, like you said, Kevin, is kind of stuck in animation, but it felt like the whole screen would shift.
Hello?
Yeah. There's always a cartoony whoosh.
It was always this whoosh, and it just like snaps the camera left or right, depending on what direction you're going. And as Kevin goes through some technical difficulties, he will be in the background. But yeah, it just like was the super jarring thing, and I actually like felt a little sick as that was happening.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You felt sick playing this?
Because that left to right snap motion that it would do when it would be stuck in animation, it would just
What?
whoosh, and I'd go, whoa, okay. And if I'd whoosh left again too fast, then that's what would like shift my. It felt like my eyes were being taken from me, kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because I play a lot of VR games, and those don't really make me sick until, you know, after an hour or two playing them. This immediately made me go, whoa, okay, hold on, barfy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't like the screen shifting. Makes every movement just way too fast with the character. The jumping mechanic, as floaty as it did, I felt like they were going for the Aladdin type.
Can't hear anything.
I felt like they were going for the Aladdin type feel with how that game jumped, but it came off as more Earthworm Jim. But because of that snap motion that was happening, it wasn't as smooth and unique as Earthworm Jim. Because Earthworm Jim's would float to the screen, and the screen would gently go up with him. This one was just jump, whoa, wham, just the screen jumps. I hated the screen shifting in this game. That was actually game breaking.
Oh yeah.
Because I just couldn't couldn't play it without kind of like taking a break after every stage, basically. I thought the shooting mechanic was interesting enough with all the different ammo, aka bugs.
Yeah.
I didn't like how level 1 you're Maui, level 2 you're Cold Shadow, then because of how long it took for each of those characters to come into play, it just dragged on. I was like, okay, here's another stage. I'm Maui, and I'm going stage to stage to stage, and I'm just wandering around doing the same thing, and then I'm finally Cold Shadow, the whole point of your playing the game. And there's...
You switch back and forth.
You can switch back and forth, but you have to collect the needed amount of transformation tokens throughout levels, and it does reset after each time you complete a level, so you can't just be Cold Shadow the whole time, which was more fun. I guess. See, I like the shooting mechanic of Maui Mallard, Donald. Yeah. But that snap motion that went with him, I just couldn't do it. So if I was ever him, I couldn't play the game. But I didn't really get a lot of that as jarring when I was Cold Shadow, because of the whole, you had the pole and the snap motion of the pole when it would connect to each wall, and that's how you would jump up to a new one. For some reason, when the camera would keep up with them, it wasn't as bad. It was still noticeable, but it wasn't as bad for me. You know, I'm okay with games being non-linear at times. Take Earthworm Jim. That's not very linear. That has you explore levels, but this one isn't so much you get lost. It's just too much of the same. It doesn't feel like you're progressing in a level. It just feels like you're just going through Scooby-Doo like hallway, and there's just a bunch of doors. You just keep getting to the same place. That's what it feels like.
I'm disappointed you didn't like it so much.
It does have a nice little password system, but you only get this little password system if you complete the kooky little bonus stage where you're jumping on stars and clouds, and you have to activate little rockets.
That's why I recommend the save state method.
Yeah, well, or you look up the passwords.
Also that.
Yeah, that's what I did whenever I would die or get tired of a stage. Okay, skip. That's what ended up happening. I ended up skipping. So that reminded me of Crash Bandicoot with the password system used. The plot was just super weak. It didn't really go into it at all. But hey, you know, it's a 16-bit game. A little bit too repetitive and wandering. Switching is neat. The need for tokens I thought was kind of unnecessary. It's a neat little mechanic, but yeah, the camera motion in the game was game breaking for me. I just couldn't play it. Game looks incredibly bright and beautiful and lots of colors, and everything's animated and looks really good.
Yeah, there's actually some pretty funny idle animations for Maui Mallard. Most of the time, it's just him pulling out a map scroll and looking at it, but one animation shows him twirling his gun and juggling it, only for it to fall on the ground and fire black goop all over him. That was pretty funny. Now, one thing that threw me off a bit was that your health is represented as a number just underneath the number of lives you have on the screen. I mean,
yeah, kind of like Earthworm Jim.
I mean, that would be a little more immediately comprehensible, especially if there's a lot going on screen. For some reason, ducking down, get it?
Yep, right.
Duck.
Allows for an increased rate of fire as Maui Mallard. And his weapon shoots green globs of something. I'm just going to imagine it's mint-flavored ice cream.
Ectoplasm.
The guts of the bug, probably. I think that's what they were going for.
That makes too much sense.
Not.
Can't be guts of the bug.
I did like how the beetle was its main weapon and it automatically refilled.
Oh yeah,
that was nice.
I like it. The game also played a bit like Earthworm Jim in that you can like swing with your staff, similar to how Jim will whip out his worm body and hook onto stuff. Yeah,
but the swing mechanic. It was odd with the little extendo pole you had, the stick, where it had a similar to Mr. Kabuki Warrior that we just spoke about. When you put it in front of you, it was at too much of a diagonal. So if you'd swing at enemies, you would always swing over them, and in the jumping mechanic, you would always swing again over those little I guess skulls throughout the levels. That's what they look like, but I know they're just hooks, essentially.
It's cool in concept, but finicky in execution.
Yeah, it didn't go well. I missed them most of the time.
Yeah, it's hard to get it to connect. And there's a lot of times where I landed on platforms clearly with my both feet, but ended up falling through them. That caused me to rage a lot.
Yeah, the game has a lot of bugs.
Yeah. Combat itself isn't particularly satisfying either. It's sort of the same problem I have with Golden Axe in that you see the hits connect, but you don't really feel like they connect.
Mm-hmm.
The detection can be a little finicky there too.
Yeah, I want to give it a pass. Yeah, I want to give it a pass. It's not getting one though. I went into this hoping for something like Aladdin or even I think Quackshot is the other Donald Duck game I've played.
Oh yeah.
This was better than Quackshot.
Well,
Yeah,
the difference is I could actually play Quackshot. I couldn't play this.
Oh, you, sir.
I couldn't play this without being sick.
Fighting words.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can give this a pass either. It's not as fun as I hoped it would be, which really sucks because I've been wanting to play this for years.
There's a Game Boy version you can try.
How that would play. So the game goes for about $20 on all consoles. So it's not the most expensive thing. Very affordable.
Ah, yeah.
Worth it. I like it. I might be talking out of nostalgia. The game's so weird that I like it.
Alrighty. Holland, let's get on to your pick.
Alrighty. First on the menu is Grim Fandango. Originally for PC and later re-released as a remaster on the PS Vita and PlayStation 4 and a few other systems.
It actually just came out on the Switch like last week.
yeah, I saw that.
It's on everything
now. Yeah. So this was developed and published by LucasArts and released on October 28th, 1998. Written and directed by Tim Schafer, who also did Full Throttle, Psychonauts, which we mentioned earlier, Brutal Legend, and Broken Age. And he was the assistant designer on Secret of Monkey Island. Now, this game got a lot of praise from critics back when it came out, but it didn't sell very well, which was...
Sounds like a Tim Schafer game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big contributing factor to Adventure Games' decline at the time.
Mm.
And I've been wanting to play this one for a long time, much like with Oddworld. It was something I saw an ad for in PC Gamer. And given it's gotten so much praise over time and is considered a cult classic, I never got to play it, but now I did. And
the reason I usually veto PC picks for the cast, but the reason why I let this one go is because, truthfully, I wanted Psychonauts, but it doesn't qualify as retro yet. But since it's by the same guy, it's gonna have that same kind of weird and strange and uniqueness to it. I thought would be good to talk about.
There is really just a graphical upgrade. Everything else about it is basically the same.
Yeah, if you get, let's see, I have the Vita and Steam version, and there's a button you can click to switch between remastered and the original, and you can hardly tell the difference.
Yeah, but I had a lot of trouble with my Vita version of this because for whatever reason, at points it would just freeze, and I had to restart my system.
I heard that's common, actually.
It's unfortunate, but I still enjoyed the game enough to power through it. Now, within the first 2 to 3 minutes, we instantly understand everything we need to know about the premise and the world. Mm-hmm. The main character, Manny Calavera, who's basically a Grim Reaper. Notice I said a Grim Reaper, not the one.
Right.
He's stuck working off a post-mortem debt by working as a travel agent for recently deceased souls who need to make a 4-year journey to the land of eternal rest. And that's sort of based off of Aztec afterlife lore.
Right.
The better the life they led, or the more money they were buried with, the better the travel package they can get, whether by going by sports car or a cruise liner or bullet train. But unfortunately, Manny only seems to get clients who can't afford any of those. So he has to give things
they were pieces of shit in the previous life, and they don't qualify for the proper travel packages.
Exactly. So he has to give things like a cane with a compass built in, or putting them in a casket with packing foam to be shipped out. And thus whatever debt gets paid off in the process ranges from negligible to non-existent. Although we find out later there's more going on under the surface with the company he works for to make that happen. And now that is how you introduce a game. Concise dialogue, showing without telling where possible, and establishing the main character's lot in life without delving into a flashback. Although that may be due to Manny's amnesia about the sin he committed to force him into the job.
The convenient plot point amnesia.
And it's a very quirky premise, what with the afterlife being run like a bureaucracy / mob business.
Yeah, when that started happening, I was like, hell yeah, now we got some film noir style thing going on here. Yeah, lots of immediate comedy that goes along with a lot of the LucasArts point-and-click adventures. Luckily, if you don't like point-and-click adventures, there's a free roam mechanic that's built into it now. You just hold down a button, you can run with the character just along areas. So that was really nice to play with.
Absolutely, yeah.
It would be much more palatable for you, Kevin.
Nope. Tried it. Nope.
Kevin doesn't like puzzles. He doesn't like thinking.
No, I don't like point and clicks. I find
it's not boring. A point and click anymore because you can roam.
It's a walk and look at stupid puzzles that make no sense. I don't like these games.
Actually, these puzzles made perfect sense in this game. That's what made it so enjoyable. Didn't
like it.
It's funny. I watched Coco recently, one of the latest Pixar movies, and a lot of what goes on in this game matches what happens in the movie. In fact, there's a bit with a balloon animal guy complaining that his carpal tunnel syndrome is acting up. Manny points out he doesn't have tendons, and the guy says, "You don't have a tongue, but that doesn't shut you up, does it?"
Yeah, there's a lot of that comedy.
And that's similar to a gag in Coco, where a clerk in the land of the dead, where everyone's a skeleton, starts sneezing because of a dog allergy, and the main character points out the dog doesn't have fur, and the clerk replies, "And I don't have a nose, and yet here we are." Yachoo!
Got him.
Another game with pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
So just like Oddworld, holds up just fine visually.
Yeah, and the visual style is very unique. Everyone's a skeleton. Let's see.
There was a few puzzles that were really bad. But the game. Okay, so first off, the game does an interesting thing with the character model, where as the character is walking around the room, his skeleton head, will specifically look at things that you need to interact with and learn about. So you're walking by this. It looks like a pipe. It's actually like the mail. Like at banks, they have the pneumatic mail tube. Well, as you're walking by it, his head will turn and specifically look at that one thing. So you go, "Oh, what's he looking at?" Click the button. He interacts with it. Like, really got to pay attention to that kind of stuff in this game. There's a couple instances where you can easily miss, what he's looking at because it's very specific. The first one was, you figure out a way to break the computer system, and this, which reminded me of the Ratchet and Clank plumber. He's down there fixing what's broken, and you're talking to him. Well, as you walk up to talk to him, Manny looks at the door, and I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
And
I had the same thing.
And so then he fixes the plumber guy fixes the thing, mechanic, closes the door, and it locks, and you go, "What the hell am I supposed to do?" And you look up a walkthrough. Oh shit! I was supposed to
my experience
latch the door, so then when it closes, it's not locked. So you have to actually. That's a good example of a Sierra thing. If you're familiar with point-and-click adventures, Sierra was kind of the big company at the time with LucasArts. Well, Sierra had a lot of things where if you wouldn't save, the things like this would occur that would make you have to restart wherever your last save was. So think of like you died kind of thing.
There's actually a way that you can re-break the machine after it gets fixed and then actually do the door latch thing again.
Oh, you can just go up to the packing foam area and just do it again?
Yeah, just get like a couple more deflated.
Yeah,
a couple more deflated balloons from the balloon animal guy, and then you can fill them up again with the packing foam stuff.
Yeah, I found it faster just to reload. Because then I already had all the balloons and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other instance that bothered me was, okay, well, I missed the hole puncher on the desk. I didn't even know that was a hole puncher. Because you need that to stop the mail from going through the tube in that room. And the one that annoyed me the most was definitely, you're in this forest labyrinth. So I mentioned Scooby-Doo doors, and you keep going back to the same hallway. This is an area of trees that you go through the tree trunks, and you just keep being popped out the other side. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Because I went to interact with this sign on that level, and he goes, I can't lift it out of the ground. So I'm like, okay, he can't lift it out of the ground. So I go to the forest, and I go, oh, I keep coming out the other side, or these other ends. So I figured there was like a pattern to it where wherever it would point me out, I would just go directly across until I'd come across. Nope. So then I went back to the sign to think that maybe it would point me in a different direction where to go. So then it spun, pointed me to the forest. I go, okay, go back there. Took the sign again. So then I ran all the way with the sign to the labyrinth forest, and it just kept spinning, no matter what I would do. So I looked up a walkthrough online of it, and you just have to fuck around with it until you get to a certain specific point in that area, and you lay it down, and then it'll have this secret passageway unlocked. I was like, that is stupid. That was the one I hated the most. And that's near the end of Act 1, which is where I stopped playing. There's 3 acts, and it's a long game. I went into it, we were talking about this prior, I went into it thinking it was like a 6-hour game, and it's actually like twice that.
Yeah, that was annoying for me too.
Yeah, I did my very best to not look up a walkthrough, and there was only 3 instances that I had to do it. It was the hole punch, it was the door latch, because I was hoping that I didn't have to either do all that again, or I could just like ask him in some way, and that tree, the tree place.
Yeah. I really like this game's sense of humor. It's like there's actually some funny trophies you can get in the remastered version. Like if you're trying to log into your rival's computer, you get a silver trophy for guessing arrogant fraud.
So even the trophies got updated with some humor. That's pretty funny. I did notice a couple of them when I was playing on the Steam version.
Yeah, and if you try to scare some pigeons away with a Robert Frost balloon animal, you get a bronze trophy that says, "Run, you pigeons! It's Robert Frost."
I did that too. I thought, man, it's point and click adventure game. It's always like the dumbest things that solve the puzzles sometimes. So I was like, okay, the dog won't scare him, or the dingo. I was like, Robert Frost, pigeons, Robert Frost, and then that trophy came up. Like, I was thinking the same thing, but it's actually just put the bread in the put a ballooned animal in the bowl and put bread over it. So then when the birds eat it, they'll pop the balloon and scare the piss out of them. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I wish it was just Robert Frost.
yeah, that would have been so funny.
But yeah, really the humor in the game is really good.
Voice acting too. Each character sounds unique, has their own charm and personality, and the dialogue itself is very witty and sarcastic and has great delivery. I really liked it.
What's key about these kind of games are the puzzles aren't impossible. You just have to kind of think logically about everything, and this game does a very good job about that.
For sure.
Like, I never had a single issue, except with the Labyrinth Forest, solving a puzzle. Because everything just kind of clicks. It comes to your mind immediately. Okay, how am I going to... Well, okay, wait a minute. There was one instance with a viewpoint, because everything kind of has that fixed cameras going through hallways and rooms. When you go to the bottom level of your office building, the camera does a flip motion, and you don't see that you can actually go right. And that's where the server room was.
Yeah, that was very obtuse.
It just looked like a straight line. It looked like a wall. And so I never tried to go right, because I thought it was a wall. So I went left, okay, so that's where that area is. But the camera flipped, and it clearly shows that there's something over there. So here I'm thinking way too much about it. I go, well, maybe that's just like behind me when I turn left. But then I'm like visually in my head flipped around in there, and so I was actually streaming the beginning of this game online, and someone goes, no, you can go right. It's like, but there's nothing right. It's a wall. And he goes, not a wall. Oh, there's a whole room there.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kevin, Mr. I don't like point-and-click adventures, even though the whole point-and-click aspect of the game was taken away and improved upon. What did you think of Grim Fandango? Did you even play it for 10 minutes?
I think I got 10 minutes. I was like, well, I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring me.
That doesn't sound like trying it to me.
All right, well, I did my part. I don't like these games. I'm sorry. I tried. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I just don't, man. I'm sorry. I tried, and I just can't get into these.
I think you need to play this with somebody. I think that'll change your mind about it eventually.
Maybe.
All right. It gets an easy pass from me. Between this and Oddworld, those are the two games I'm gonna go back and finish.
Absolutely.
Meh.
Second game and last game on our list, Cullen.
Agenda, if you will.
Our agenda.
Last but not least, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg on GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been waiting to play this on the podcast for over a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one just barely qualifies for our cutoff point.
It's finally qualified for the cut. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Can we make the generation the cutoff point yet?
The what? A generation cutoff?
Like the PS2 generation. There's so many games on a pick that like we're not allowed to pick.
But they'll come in time.
No, it's so lame. I could have played Psychonauts, but you're like, no, it's not 14 and a half years old yet.
15.
Shut your mouth. I know what I said.
Well, we played Grim Fandango instead. It was by the same guy. And you played Psychonauts anyways, and we got to talk about it.
That was different reasons. Also, game's still not good. Anyway, go on.
You just hate Tim Schafer.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I like Costume Quest, but go on.
Oh, boy. Anyway, this was developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega. Released on the GameCube in North America, September 20th, 2003. In Japan and the EU in October 2003. And for Australia, it just says 2003.
Eventually it came out.
Now, this is definitely a strange game. The plot involves Morningland, a land populated by chickens, being invaded by an army of crows, and the elder chickens who crow for the sun, because the sun needs them to crow in order to rise, similar to the movie Rock-a-Doodle, if anybody's watched that.
No.
And the elders have been captured and sealed into golden eggs in order to bring about eternal nighttime. We then see our main character, Billy Hatcher, running out the door of this house to meet with his friends, but then a baby chick comes running out of the woods chased by a crow, and Billy whacks it away with a branch. This apparently demonstrates great courage, so Billy gets warped to Morningland and is given the legendary chicken suit.
Damn right.
Three words I never thought would ever go together. And that will allow him to unseal the chicken elders and bring morning back to Morningland.
Everything you said just sounds like the weirdest acid trip anyone's ever taken.
It's very strange.
And it fits with the theme.
You're not wrong.
Now, you can definitely tell this was a Sonic Team game because the character designs look so much like Sonic Adventure characters. It's like the skinny arms and legs, the really big hands and feet, the big eyes, and much like Sonic himself, Billy can't swim. And then I found out it was made using the Sonic Adventure 2 engine, so that explains it.
Well, it was kind of like an upgrade of it. It kind of improved upon that same engine.
Yeah.
That's true. And pretty much everything you do in the game involves you rolling eggs around. You attack by kicking eggs at enemies, and if they hit nothing, they roll right back towards you. Doing ground pounds with them, or just plain rolling over them, over enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And to get around using certain types of hoops, you need to be rolling an egg and jump into it. Like you can jump into a bouncy hoop, basically bounce up and down, hit jump, and go even higher. Or if you go into some blue hoops, it kind of zips you around, similar to all the bouncing platforms in the 3D Sonic games. You can also roll eggs over fruits in order to fill its gauge in the bottom right corner of the screen. And once the gauge is full, you can hatch it by crowing like a rooster. Yes, really.
Yeah, just like kind of the Chow. It reminded me of the Chow system in the Sonic Adventure games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I remember raging a few times in the pirate level when you need to roll the golden egg over some fruits to hatch it. I wound up either accidentally letting it roll into the water, which kills you,
absolutely,
or getting it hit by a big enemy, or just falling into the water as a result of the camera being so finicky.
The camera was definitely the weakest part of the game. For sure.
That was my biggest problem. It's just zipped around so much. It's so hard to control.
It reminded me of Super Monkey Ball in that aspect. I believe Sonic Team made Super Monkey Ball, didn't they?
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like the whole movement mechanic was very similar to that to me. The director Yuji Naka, the guy of Sonic Adventure, I tried to find more articles on it. He called this game an evolution of Sonic Adventure 2 and its engine.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to use Sonic and create another Sonic game. They wanted to get very unique with it, and boy did they. Unfortunately for them, the game was a commercial bomb. It only sold 250,000 copies worldwide, and the team loved making this game and its mechanics and how unique it was, but it just didn't sell. So they just couldn't make a sequel, and they really wanted to. It was very, very saddening because I had a blast playing this game, especially after quite a few of these were very, very difficult or frustrating and challenging. This one, yes, it had its challenges, but that was mostly towards more the camera aspect than anything else.
Yeah.
I was just sit back, relax kind of deal. I loved... what's that game? What's the game where you like roll the ball around and collect things in rooms and shit? Ball gets bigger.
Katamari Damacy?
Katamari.
Glover?
Katamari.
Oh.
It reminded me a lot of Katamari with the whole you roll the egg around.
Yeah, okay. I see that.
But it had more difficulty because you couldn't get the egg damaged. But the egg can damage enemies, which is kind of counterintuitive, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it gets a little annoying when you want to go backwards. It's like when you hit the backwards direction of where you're going with the joystick while rolling, you skid to a stop, and then he lets go of the egg, which can be a real pain when you're trying to get the egg somewhere. So you have to move back towards the egg and get Billy to latch onto it again.
Yeah.
You had to actually arc the stick to make it really work, instead of just pulling on it, you know?
It had a decent grasp of the physics on how an egg would work. And the fact you get different eggs in different sizes and whatnot, it worked. Yeah. It's such a it's a good example of what the GameCube kind of was. You know?
Weird.
Well, the GameCube with a lot of its exclusives were just weird. They were thinking outside the box. Even that whole generation, like the Dreamcast, was like that too.
Yeah.
Once you take away all the like 2D fighters that it had, just a lot of strange, unique games.
Kinetic Neo, we covered that on a previous cast.
Oh god, that's a weird one too. Yeah. I think that was made by the Crash Bandicoot people, wasn't it? Naughty Dog.
Well, it certainly plays a lot like it.
I think so. No, I think it was just a camera aspect. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it was. Anyways, I just had a blast playing this. It was very chill and relaxing compared to a lot of them. I didn't have to think about a lot of puzzles. It was a good palate cleanser. I'm very glad I played this last.
Yeah, I played it second. I played Oddworld last.
I went back and tried to beat Bonk. Didn't happen. And then I tried to get a little further in Oddworld. Got kind of stuck near the halfway point. So Billy Hatcher is definitely something I'm gonna pick up probably this afternoon here and keep playing, because it met my expectations, which was very, very surprising. I thought it was just gonna be kind of like Kevin, you playing Psychonauts. You're just like, it's okay.
Yeah, it just, second half got weird.
It's above average for me, for sure.
Billy Hatcher was fun. I could agree.
I don't think it's a great game by any means, but I think if you own a GameCube, it's definitely worth getting. I mean, it only goes for $20.
It's only a GameCube, right?
Yes, it's a GameCube exclusive.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, GameCube doesn't have they have a bunch of none that are, well, not none, but most of them are kind of. This one's weird and quality, luckily.
What did you think of the whole egg mechanic, Kevin? Because that's what this whole game is based off of, you rolling this egg around and going through hoops and shit.
So you said Katamari. I actually thought more... That's a bad game, by the way.
You cut out when you said what game it was.
Nice. Glover?
Okay. Boy, yeah, you did mention that earlier. That is super fucking weird. I'm surprised we didn't pick Glover.
There's only 11.
I don't want to play that again. A bad game. But yeah, I don't know. Billy Hatcher was fun. I didn't get like super deep into it just because time is a limited resource in this world.
Absolutely.
But I would continue it. So pass for me.
Yay.
Yeah, I like it in small doses. I'd probably like it more if the camera and controls weren't as finicky, but I still like it. I give it a pass.
I wonder what reviews had to say about Billy Hatcher. I'm just going to pull up the Wikipedia.
Go to Metacritic. I want to hear people say
they were average.
Out the average.
Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, Metacritic. Because this was the one that definitely stood out for... I mean, it's also the most recent out of the games we chose.
Ooh.
I wonder what people had to say. It has a 71 on Metacritic, but an 8.6 user score.
That sounds about right for weird games. People that actually take time to view them.
Let's see here.
It's a classic, you fucking idiots.
Edge Magazine. It's impossible not to feel disappointed with a title that, to judge by its opening, ought to have competed on an even footing with Mario Sunshine. I don't know about that.
Whoa. What?
Instead, it's an uneasy compromise between the splendor of early levels and the inadequacy of later missions. It's not Mario Sunshine. Fuck this game, basically. That's what I got from it.
It sounds like Nintendo Power wrote that.
No, it was Edge Magazine.
I know what I said.
Here, this one gave it a 60. From NTSC UK. Charming, that certainly covers it. One damned charming game from start to finish. It's not perfect, it's not flashy, but it's a real adventure of discovery, and there are plenty of extras to keep everyone happy. That sounded better than the Edge Magazine review, and that gave it 10 points lower.
Yeah, really.
Well, see, that's the thing that's weird with reviews. I always say reviews or something is like, you get people's real reactions as opposed to like a review. Feel like they have to rate things a certain way.
Yeah.
So like you really don't get a game until you play it or at least watch somebody playing it.
So let's see here. User scores. None of these are they're all giving it 10s and 9s. I want like an 8 score. See if I can find one. 2, 7. Here's 1 7. Good eggy fun. That's it. Best review.
Here's an 8 in this trying time.
I found one. Here's an 8 user review. It's a very enjoyable platformer and a unique gameplay structure, which makes the game stand out with likable characters and a decent plot. My only problem with the game is a few minor cheap deaths and running with Billy overall. Overall, this game definitely should be played by anyone who has a game.
Yeah.
It's kind of our thoughts on it. Ray. Well, okay then. Yeah, Glover. Wow, that is a game we totally missed out on this cast.
No, we didn't miss out anything.
Probably not.
It's fine.
I have a vague memory of that game.
I
Very
have
vague.
memories of level 1, and they gave you a crystal ball that you could break, and if you broke, you died anyway. So I was like, what's the...
All right, so to go over our 6 games we chose for the strange and the weird: Oddworld Abe Odyssey, Bonk's Adventure, Kabuki Quantum Fighter, Maui Mallard and Cold Shadow,
Hell yeah.
Grim Fandango, and Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. Colin, favorite and least favorite?
I'm probably gonna say Oddworld Abe's Odyssey.
Hey, my pick! Yay!
Although Grim Fandango is a close second. But yeah, this is the one I wanted to play more of the most. It's like I also want to play more of Grim Fandango, but Oddworld is just more addicting, more appealing to me overall.
More
even if
odd.
It's the inferior version. Even if it's the inferior version, but I really enjoyed this one, and I really want to play more of it. It's just got exactly the right challenge I'm looking for in a puzzle platformer. Now, for least favorite, I don't consider any of these games overall bad, but if I had to pick one, probably Cold Shadow. It's just the one I had the most problems with.
Kevin.
Hello.
Favorite and least favorite?
Favorite, Cold Shadow. Love it. I don't care what you guys say. Suck my dick. Least favorite. Can I pick the point and clicks?
You have to pick one.
Why you gotta be this way?
There was only one point and click.
Oh yeah, well, Oddworld was weird. You know, fuck it, Grim Fandango.
The best critically acclaimed list on the came on the list, and you're like, this game is the worst.
Suck my dick.
What's funny, because I'm on the opposite end. My favorite was Grim Fandango, and my least favorite was Cold Shadow.
Suck dicks.
Oh no.
Although I will say Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg was close to Grim Fandango, but I think Grim Fandango is the better game. That's what gets the edge.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of my picks. Yay.
Yeah. I was hoping to go into it Oddworld or Bonk, but your 2 picks, Colin, were slam dunks with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Happy to hear it.
Alrighty. This was episode 32. We covered the strange and the weird, talked some gaming industry nonsense that we all got mad about. And don't forget about our ongoing contest through the month of November. I will mention it again. Yes, it is the 3rd time, but I got to do it for anyone who listened to the end and you haven't done it yet. Go on to iTunes and Stitcher, leave us a review, take a screenshot of the review, send it to @BowlingJD. You'll be entered into the contest both times if you review on both sites. Subscribe on YouTube. Take a screenshot of that. Send it to me again, Redleaf Retrocast @BowlingJD. And follow us on Podbean. Get more active people on Podbean, and you'll be entered in the contest. And the winner of the contest will get to choose a retro theme in 2 games. Or if they're an anime fan, you can choose an anime for us to review. Remember, it has to be at least 15 years old. Or if you're a wrestling fan,
rules.
Pick a retired wrestler for us to do a spotlight over. And you will get all the shoutouts that you want and need if you're a YouTuber or just want to say whatever you want for the cast. So, barring, PC type stuff.
Cool.
Tight.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you all for joining us. And we have our next topic since the holiday season's coming up. Being it's Black Friday and the Christmas season kicks off. So, Kevin, you have our next theme pick. What is it?
Hell yeah, I do. It's games you got for. So.
Games you got for Christmas. Very, very cool stuff.
So nothing necessarily like, no shooters, no racers. It's not limiting as long as you got it for Christmas one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I titled this as Xmas Presents as a Kid.
Cool. No, I don't want to say mine yet.
We're gonna have some fun games there. It's not limited. It's gonna be cool. I'm not sure if that's gonna be our last cast before the end of the year, but it's a good chance it might be.
We might make it.
We might make another one in just one in December. So.
Word.
Yeah, great cast today. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget about the contest. Subscribe wherever, and hit us up on social media. Use the hashtag RedleafRetrocast. We'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Yeah.
Goodbye, audience.
Are you Bane now?
Yes. I'm still in Batman mode.
Okay, so I'm still gonna be streaming here. Any audience that wants to interact, I stopped all recording. This is just post show type stuff now.
Sweet. Yeah, sorry about my random fucking audio issue that I'm not gonna hear any.
And there it goes again.
Yeah, it goes again.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta run a really fucking long cable. There's this Wi-Fi extender thing's pissing me off.
Oh, yeah.
So I gotta figure that out.
All right, handsome956857 is in the chat. He says, "Haha, got cut off to cool technical difficulty. We had a couple fans interacting. Stock Photo Harold was getting a haircut as he was listening to us, so that's pretty cool."
All right, you ready for my first pick? I got you guys.
Okay, we're ready.
We're doing it. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Fighting Edition.
Huh. Neat.
And
isn't that the SNES game?
Yeah, it is. And there's a Genesis one, Power Rangers, that is a fighting game. That game sucks. It's the same thing.
So Super Nintendo version then.
Oh fuck yeah, it is. And it has the best overall rendition of the Power Rangers theme song ever in that game. Like, better than the real song. This is how I remember that. It's so fucking good.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Cool. I think I've actually played that one at a friend's house.
So good. The fucking theme song was my ringtone 10 years.
Nice.
Do you agree that Zookeeper was the ultimate bar game?
Like Bejeweled?
Zookeeper.
Yeah, it's the same.
Never heard of
the
it.
match 3 thing.
Match 3, Bejeweled.
Yeah. First of all, the best bar game ever is Get Girl's Number. I don't know.
Foosball.
Foosball, yes.
Darts drunk.
Yeah.
That never ends well.
I throw darts sidearm, by the way. It's weird.
That is weird. That's very dangerous, too.
Yeah.
So Kevin, you had your first pick. Colin, I have Mario Sunshine marked for you.
And I think I know what my second pick will be.
Okay, what do you got?
I mean, I didn't get very many games until age 14 for Christmas, but the only other one I can think of is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the Game Boy Color.
Specifically the Game Boy Color,
specifically for the Game Boy Color.
Not the N64 version. I am so sorry, guys.
Look, any excuse not to play an N64, I'm not mad at you.
We can play.
Yeah,
we can mark them both down.
This is the shitty version.
I kind of feel no. You know what? Let's do the Game Boy Color version. Fuck it.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I'll put GBC N64.
It's almost same name, different game kind of thing. They're both racers, but the Game Boy Color version is vastly inferior.
I'm still recording on Audacity.
Oh, Evan. Dropping the ball. That's okay. I haven't decided my second game, but the first one's going to be Contra on the NES.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't decided on my second game. I think it has to be another NES game. Otherwise, it would be, let's see, because I can't quite remember for my PlayStation games other than SmackDown 2, WWF SmackDown 2. I got for Christmas one year.
Did we
I know Twisted Metal games I got for Christmas, but we already covered Twisted.
Have we talked about Crazy
what?
Taxi?
No.
Okay, throw that on mine then.
Crazy Taxi. Dreamcast.
Nope, PS2.
Well,
I know what I said. I want the PS2 version specific.
came out of the Dreamcast originally. That's what I have it on.
if it makes it more eligible.
Wonder when did it come out on the PS2?
I don't know, but it's probably more than 50.
Yo, Wikipedia.
On a side note, I had an idea for another topic for the future.
Okay.
It's non-horror games that scared us anyway.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it because the only non-PC game I can think of for it is Descent. I mean, that was on the PC, but it's also on PS1. But the only other one I can really think of is Half-Life, and that's full PC.
That game scared you?
Crazy Taxi came to the PS2 in 2001.
2000 what?
Assam is from a country where Christmas doesn't exist. He did get a PSP, though.
Weird.
What do you mean, weird? Not weird. There's lots of countries that don't celebrate Christmas. Fucking Japan celebrates it as like a love holiday.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry. Is that not America?
Well, Japan celebrates it purely secularly, whereas there's a huge portion of the States that celebrates it religiously. Here and in Canada, too.
My family didn't celebrate it religiously.
No.
Mine did.
We're just like, time off from school and work. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I go. Word.
He is from South Korea, and he says it's greater than the USA.
First of all, you do have Psy, so that's a good point. They have Psy, so.
I think they have free healthcare too, so that's better.
Shit.
I miss Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, I'll have to think of my second game. You know what? I can see.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Today's Remembrance Day / Veterans Day.
It is Veterans Day.
Yes.
He's been in Philadelphia for 5 years now. He says the place is dog shit. Yeah, I don't like Philly much either.
I thanked my brother for being a veteran, saying, "Good job doing."
Philly's a very odd place.
Yeah. All right, boys. I gotta go eat some.
I'll post the 6 games for the next cast, which is gonna be on the 25th.
Tight.
Oh. Of November, right?
Boys.
Yes, of November. If we have to put it off an extra week, then we will do.
Okay.
Cool.
And that will be our December episode, basically.
Cool.
Hoping not to. Hoping not, though. All right then.
Goodbye.
Later, Kevin. Get me your audio file when you can in the next day or so, and this episode will come out on Tuesday on Podbean, iTunes, and all that stuff.
And don't forget the whole Night in the Woods to the Moon thing.
The moon. You have to. It'll be either the next cast or the cast after that.
Yeah. And To the Moon is also on Good Old Games, if you're curious.
Oh, he knows his stupid mic is getting cut off. Yeah, his Wi-Fi is like messing up with him pretty bad. Luckily, when we put out the episodes on iTunes and whatnot, he's recorded his own audio, so then I just splice it into all of ours, and nothing gets cut off on those. Better quality. Okay. That's the point. That that's the risk of live streaming.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked on our iTunes page, and I saw that the Damsels in Distress cast is the most popular.
Well, in terms of like recent hits, I guess.
Yeah.
That I don't know how iTunes analytics work in that little bar, because the analytics I get from everything combined says differently of what's popular and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm gonna try and write a review for the Dirty Pair episode soon.
Then you will be entered into the contest.
I'm not eligible. I'm already part of the cast now.
Yeah.
I can already choose topics.
And you're on the anime cast next weekend for Escaflowne. That'll be good. That's basically yours.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to get access to episodes soon. I've only rewatched 2 so far.
All right, well, then the stream is coming to an end, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow us on everywhere, join the contest, everything. See you, people.